He's so close, Midor's going to take it. Oh, a 3-up sprint to the line too. Midor, Farissier, Midor takes it. Hello everybody, welcome to coverage of this stop 6 of 8 on the XTERRA World Cup, round 9 of 11 in total as we head towards that big finale in Molveno in the Dolomites. But first of all though, not without the longest running XTERRA race of all time, XTERRA Czechia in the Czech Republic, and it is day 2 of competition. We had round 8 of the World Cup yesterday, the full distance XTERRA race in Czech Republic, which doubled up by the way as the Triathlon Europe race. And here we are back in Prachatice, the absolute heartland and the birthplace of short track racing for this, the short track round of the XTERRA World Cup here in Prachatice. And more than that, it's actually come back to its original roots as well at Lake Kristanovici, moving on from where it was at Krisky Pond last year and back to an absolute firm favourite amongst the athletes. Look at these shots, the beautiful mountains, the beautiful forests up into the Sumava and the Bohemian forest spreading around it. It's perfect for a swim. The mountain bike trails have been augmented and improved since we were last here as well. A fair bit of new earth and fresh lips and bumps added in. Shall we see where we've been though? Because it all started way back in the beginning of the year, in January in fact, in Dunsborough, Australia. Then we went to Weston Park in the UK for a new round as well before moving on to the North American Champion. 2 days of competition at Oak Mountain. Then it was Quebec, of course, in Canada, and now here we are in Czechia, the Czech Republic, at Prachatice for the longest running XTERRA race of all time. Don't forget the big finale. She did the same thing in the full distance as she did in the short track, Prachatice. And we moved on to Vouliagmeni in April in Greece. Elise Prachatice not slowing up the Frenchwoman, taking a massive 5 minutes win over Anna Zender. We then moved on to a new round in Weston Park, United Kingdom of course, and all eyes on Prachatice again in that gold swim cap. Could she maintain her dominance? And Etta Grabmuller swimming so well again and biking even better, the Czech athlete. But once again, Elise Prachatice on top by nearly 4 minutes over Annette Grabmuller. Arla Headley with a great performance there to remind us that she is one of those emerging athletes. We then moved on to Oak Mountain. The full distance race brought rain, heavy, thick mud, a really tough day out, but it was a Prachatice win again. The following day would be the short track, of course, very fast racing in the mercifully slightly drying out conditions, but it was still Elise Prachatice, the Frenchwoman, taking a full set of victories all the way through as well. But that took us to Quebec in Canada. Drier conditions, thankfully, but you'll notice Marta Mendito on top. Elise Prachatice out with a stress fracture. So the athlete that had been tracking her all season, Marta Mendito, with a wonderful opportunity. This was yesterday. Barbara Riveros, the Chilean athlete, taking the win yesterday, and Marta Mendito taking a fine second, meaning Marta Mendito moves into the gold jersey. Marta Mendito, the Italian, taking over that lead from Elise Prachatice. It's not the way she would have wanted it. They are teammates and friends, I'll remind you. These are the World Cup standings after yesterday. Marta Mendito in the lead, and Etta Grabmuller, home favourite of course today, moving up to 4th. Emma de Croo in 5th. Romy Spolder in 7th, and the emerging youngster Arla Headley in 15th place as well. They are all here today, ready to start the short track World Cup in Prachatice in Czechia, the Czech Republic for XTERRA Czech. It is, as I say, stop 6 of 8 on this year's 3rd running of the World Cup. The XTERRA World Cup has grown year on year, and let's hear from one of its big stars.
The course is so demanding, it's going to be so hard race. I think the dynamic is going to be a bit different from the previous short tracks where you just go all out. I think here you will actually have to pace yourself a bit because it is very physical and you don't want to burn yourself in the first lap.
Well, I've no idea what to expect. Usually after XTERRA my legs are pretty dead anyway, so I'm just going to try and think like everybody's legs are going to be like that and just see what I've got left to go all the way to the line. Yeah, I'm really looking forward. I did a course recce this morning and it's looking like it's going to be a really short, like punchy, quite technical on the bike. Yeah, so I think hopefully it suits me. And yeah, looking forward to having a crack.
What section of the short track course was the most fun for you?
Oh, the top section of the bike where you've got the low jump into the rock roll and then all the berms, that's just like right on my street.
Really looking forward to seeing how Isla Headley goes today. Of course, we heard prior to her from Annette Grabmuller, who was third yesterday, in really good form, as we always expect from the Czech athlete when she comes home. And she really has come home as well. This is where she had her big breakthrough performance. Let's see how she goes today. Our elite women locked and loaded, ready to go in glorious conditions. Look at that, 25 degrees the air temperature, 56% humidity, not very much wind, and a water temperature in excess of 20 degrees. So I can tell you there'll be no wetsuits, and it really is pretty much perfect racing conditions. That's where I want to be right now, on that paddleboard. I'm not, though. I'm watching this with you lot, and welcome everybody if you're watching this live. If you're watching it back later on, don't forget, we always bring you live coverage during the year at some of our biggest events. Check it all out on our YouTube channel, of course, where you are right now. My name, by the way, is Jez Cox. I have Nicole Walters with me once again, and this is our start list. Marta Mendito, of course, it is, by the way, in World Cup ranking order as well. 22 elite women ready to start, led by Marta Mendito, who, as I say, will be enjoying becoming the World Cup leader, but not the way it's happened, I suspect. Alice Prachatice is her teammate, despite the fact they come from different countries. They are teammates together. And as we look at Prachatice on the left of the shot there, yes, we do wish Alice Prachatice, great champion of our sport, who was in such incredible form this year, the best for her recovery from a stress fracture. She will be missed in this race. However, it is an opportunity for other athletes to move up and possibly get some more limelight in her absence. I'm sure we and the whole XTERRA family are wishing her the best in her recovery. And fingers crossed she might be back in time for the World Championships and the finale of the World Cup in Moveno at the end of the year. We just watched Marta Mendito in the gold swim cap, making her way into the water, and that gives me a chance to say hello to Nicole Walters. Hello, Nicole.
Hiya, Jez. Yeah, really looking forward to today's race. I think it's going to be really close amongst these ladies.
Yes, and the conditions, you'll know best, being a former European cross-tri champion, Nicole, former professional off-road athlete. These conditions, to my mind, look really, really good. Arguably the best I think we've had all season.
It is lovely, isn't it? And so a non-wetsuit swim's always nice. So they've got the shorter distance for the swim today, but it's nice not having to worry about rain or being cold and just being out there and then enjoying it.
Yep. We've got some exciting youngsters in here. We're just looking at Romy Spalder there, having made her way in. We also heard from 20-year-old Isla Headley as well. That's one of the things I love about XTERRA. One of the many things I love about XTERRA, Nicole, is that we have this interesting mix of quite a lot of, what should we say, slightly more experienced athletes in their mid to late 30s, early 40s, mixing it with these youngsters who are coming through that gladly have found their way into XTERRA right at the beginning of their elite careers as well. It's a brilliant mix, isn't it?
It is, yes. I'm really excited to see Mila race today. So we've been told to watch out for her. She's the 2024 Youth B World Champion, and she's been given a wild card to race today. I hear she's very, very good on the bike and will love this course. So yeah, it's going to be really exciting to see.
Yeah, that's Mila Lantelme, the French athlete, as we've heard there. She was a winner, one of the winners of those new Youth B World Championships from Moveno last year. Fantastic coverage we were able to bring you of that too. I do believe we've just started, actually, by the looks of things, Nicole. Oh, no, we haven't. Sorry. This is them warming up. I'm just literally looking up at my shot. I thought, hang on a minute. Keeping myself. I'm getting too excited with this. Looking there at Hannah Lee Young, the Australian athlete in the green. Right, what we're looking at. Keep your hat on, Cox.
They're just
what we're looking at here.
Up,
yes, just joining the lineup. So let me just remind everyone what we have. A 400-meter swim. The whole purpose of short track is to keep it compacted. It's like a cross triathlon, an XTERRA's version of an espresso. Purified version of our sport, all very close to transition as well. And so that what we have is a 400-meter swim. That's two 200-meter loops as well, getting out, running around and diving back in again. And then on the bike, we have under 8K this time. We've got 7.6 kilometers in total, 4 laps that is, of a 1.9 kilometer course. And then on the run, 2.6 kilometres, and that is 2 laps of a 1.3k course. So we're going to see an awful lot of them. They'll keep passing transition as well, and it will be a short but very fast and exciting race. It was brilliant last year. Last year's winner, by the way, of this event, Solène Billouin, she is not here, the 3-time world champion, and as we know, neither is Alice Prachatice. Annette Grabmüller was the best finisher last year. She's the Czech athlete. She's the athlete who's made her name here. And as we know, Nicole, she's probably still the fastest swimmer in this field.
Yeah, I mean, I think we might actually see Isla Headley challenge her today in the swim. I think she put around 30 seconds into her in yesterday's swim, so we had the long event yesterday, which tied up as the European Championship. So, yeah, I think watch out for Isla Headley here.
Yep, let's see how they go. Isla Headley wears the number 10 with the green swim cap, and Annette Grabmüller in the blue swim cap. Now, this is where traditionally, of course, as you might expect, Nicole Walters and I start looking for coloured swim caps as well. And we do have a blue one in the lead as well. We've had this conversation a few times before, Nicole. We covered, of course, the short track race from Oak Mountain earlier this year. I always wonder, and I'm actually still a little bit unsure, who the short track format suits best. Does it suit the strong swimmer, the likes of an Annette Grabmüller or an Isla Headley, because they can get out front early and then get into the single track, and it's harder then to catch them or pass them maybe? Or is it that actually they're suited by having a longer swim at the beginning? It's tricky to know, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, obviously getting out front and being out the front of the race is easier going into that bike, but I think the bike's going to play quite a big role in today's race. We heard Annette talking about how challenging that bike was, and actually saying that she might need to save some of her effort on that first lap. So it's a very tough bike course that they've got to challenge and take on today. So yeah, we'll have to see how it plays out.
It is Annette Grabmüller with the number 3 on her light blue cap who is leading, but a nice pack just behind them. That's the normal melee around the turn buoy there. Arms and the legs going absolutely everywhere. And
yes, it's not much distance, is it, to that first turn buoy?
No, not at all. Good sign for the Czech athlete, Grabmüller, that she was third yesterday in that full distance event. And just to remind people, this time round, previously it's been the European XTERRA Championships. This time round, XTERRA partnering up with Triathlon Europe and hosting the Triathlon Europe Championship, an event, of course, that Nicole Walters herself, who I'm talking to right here, has won before. So that was a nice pairing up yesterday, and nice to see as well XTERRA, of course, being recognised as the home of cross triathlon, the long-term home of cross triathlon as well, and the host of Cross Triathlon's World Cup here in the XTERRA World Cup. It's the 29th year, by the way, everyone, of XTERRA this year. We have a big birthday coming up next year, and we're building towards, in 2026, in that 30th year, returning to its roots in the Americas for the World Cup finale and the World Championships in Ruidoso in New Mexico. Check it all out at xterraplanet.com. It's going to be a brilliant year next year, but this is also the biggest year of XTERRA and the biggest year of the XTERRA World Cup ever.
Cap up the front, wasn't there? We had Annette Grabmüller out the front. There's definitely Isla Headley in there as well, but I'm not sure who the pink cap was. I was wondering if it was perhaps Emma de Croo, but she's in orange today. So because she's another swimmer that we would usually expect to see out the front of the race too.
Indeed. There is, right, pink and blue alongside each other. We've got Annette Grabmüller in the blue, and the pink cap we can see is... just looking to see, I think it's Andela Brenkova, the other Czech athlete. I think we've got 2 Czech athletes right in the lead there, and that looks like Brenkova to me in the pink cap with number 22 on. There are 22 athletes in this race, by the way, everyone at home, so you know. I think it is Brenkova.
We've got a good battle going on at the front of this race already, haven't we? It's nice to see so many athletes out front.
Worth pointing out to people that it's not just by invitation only, this event. You have to qualify by completing and racing in yesterday's full distance event in Prachatice on the same transition area, same forest and same lake, but a much longer course as well. So all these athletes will have completed the tough, long, full-distance European Championship yesterday, and then they suddenly have to raise their game on the Sunday for this incredibly hard sprint as well. Nicole, we've had this conversation before, but I'll raise it with you again. Which way round would you prefer it? The sprint, the short track first on the first day, and then full distance the second day, or the other way around, the long slog on the first day and then the short track on the second day? Which would be your preference?
Oh, it's a tough question, that, and to be honest, it probably changed race to race as to what I'd prefer.
And how well the first one's gone as well, I guess.
Yes, yeah. I mean, some athletes like to use the sprint as a bit of a warm up for the longer distance. So if you had a couple of days in between the short track and then a longer distance event, it's a real good sort of leg opener to get you into that race mode for the longer distance event. Let's say it was a championship event yesterday, so maybe I'd want to go in a little bit fresher for the championship event.
Yep.
I think there'll be some tired legs out there today.
I think, by the way, Nicole, in amongst where the goggle straps are, I've read the number wrong, and actually I think it's Vanessa Andrita, the Italian athlete, who's up there alongside Aneta Grabmuller. Let's see which of those two is out first. This is going to be swim exit. Look at that. I told you it was short track. It's under 6 minutes for the opening swim. And it looks like it's Aneta Grabmuller out first as well in that blue cap. She does what she always does here in Czechia, in the Czech Republic, leading out of the water. But I tell you what, they are hot on her toes as well. There goes Emma De Croo running through. Serena Bratti, the other Italian, two Italian athletes up there trailing Aneta Grabmuller. They're going to head out onto the bike together as well. And an excellent swim by young Isla Headley. As you said, we expected to see her up there on the swim as well. They run past our man on the mic, Chun, in the glorious sunshine of Prachatice, back at its home turf at Lake Kristanovici. Don't forget, we've got the elite men's race coming up after this. This is now our women's bike leg. And I tell you something, Aneta Grabmuller's bike has continued to improve over the last two years, Nicole, hasn't it? And Grabmuller now, not just the swimmer who can also bike and run a bit, her mountain bike leg has really improved.
It is, and she's out the front. She's not going to be slowing down now. She's out in front of a home crowd. It's going to be really motivating for her, and she's going to keep pushing on now, I think.
Yep. So she leads from, I think that is Bratti, Serena Bratti, with the number 19 on as well. She heads out onto the bike. Will they form up? I'll remind people, by the way, there's no drafting regulations in this. You can draft in behind riders for what it's worth, but this is also a refreshed and technical course. I'm looking forward to seeing how the course has been adapted since we were last here as well, Nicole, actually, because I know there's been features added, and I know once they get up into those, into the forest, up into the Bohemian forest, there's some really nice trails up at the top as well. Looking here at Lizzie Orchard.
So Marta Mendieta coming into transition a little way back there. She's left herself some work to do on the bike.
Yes, well spotted. Now that's going to be a big effort. She's well capable of it, Marta Mendieta. And as I mentioned at the top, I'm sure you'll have something to say about this, Nicole, as well. Marta Mendieta and Elise Pachies are teammates. They're good friends. I'm sure this is not how Marta Mendieta would have wanted to take over the World Cup lead by Elise Pachies being out with that stress fracture.
No, definitely not. I mean, they're good friends. They train together. They'll be a great support network for each other. But I mean, Marta, we can't take anything away from her racing. She's been consistent throughout the year. She's usually up there on the podium. So yeah, I think she's still earned her place at the top of that leaderboard.
Oh yes, yeah. No, absolutely right. She's been incredibly consistent this year, but. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll never know. We wait to hear, I guess, from Elise Pachies as well about how her recovery's going. But we'll never quite know really why it's happened. But it is pointed in a way that she was so dominant this year in the World Cup. She won every round right up to the second of those two rounds, up to round 6 in the USA. She won that too. And then after that point, I believe, Nicole, Pachies went to altitude to train, and it's somewhere in that time that she's picked up this stress fracture. And you can't help but think, I think looking at that, there's the possibility, I guess, that she's going so well that she's then trying to push the limits more and more, maybe. I mean, anyone could end up with a stress fracture, I guess, but it seems frustrating.
It's a
for her that
very
it's happened
fine
in that
line
period.
when you're at the
Yeah.
top, isn't it? It's hard, very hard to find that balance. And obviously, she's very motivated by winning all these events to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And and something's perhaps just not worked out for her quite right.
There goes Headley. Isla Headley absolutely flying down there, absolutely ripping down the technical descent. And we're already seeing some of the jumps and additional little rock gardens and bits that have been thrown into this forested course as well. This looks like a cracking bike course as well. It's not
It looks
dissimilar
great
in the
fun,
forest to
doesn't
Oak
it?
Mountain, is it? Yeah, it looks really good.
And so
Right, this is Headley coming towards us.
Yeah, I think that's the section we've just seen Isla zip down that she spoke about in her interview, that she's saying she was really looking forward to.
Yeah,
So
this
they've done
is
some
Bratty.
great work on these trails.
Bratty now is in fourth. You can just see her working her dropper post there into that for this next technical section. So dropping the saddle out of the way.
Yeah, it's really nice to see these young athletes pushing it out there at the front of this race.
Grabmuller continues to lead at the moment, and the crowd, when she comes back out of the forest to complete this first lap, will no doubt be cheering her on. Very partisan, this crowd, understandably, in Czechia, alongside the lake in Prachatice as well. There's Headley now up into second. We'll wait till she goes past the next timing point just to confirm these things. Bratty definitely looking, and you can see it quite clearly, Nicole. Bratty is just sort of not enjoying the technical terrain quite as much. Whether it's a suspension setup thing or not, or a bike handling thing, she just seems to be getting battered around a bit more than Headley is.
Yeah, I mean, Isla's grown up in Scotland. She'll be used to the rough technical trails and them being wet and rocky, so she'll be absolutely loving this technical course out there.
And as we so often see, Annette Grabner at the front of the race now, looking so smooth. Very powerful athlete all round, and as I say, that mountain bike leg having really come on. However, let's just watch Headley there, because Headley has taken, is that the B route she's just taken there? Because there's two different line options, one longer and less steep and one much steeper. We've just seen Grabmuller take the steep option. Headley appears to have taken the slightly slacker option, and Bratty goes the same way. That's interesting there that we've got two lines through there, because it seems to have worked for Isla Headley. She's just closed in on Grabmuller a little bit more, Nicole.
Yeah, she didn't lose any time by taking that longer route, did she? So I wonder if she's just being a little bit mindful of perhaps having tired legs and knowing that she can get up the slightly less steep option easier than just trying to push through and perhaps getting some leg cramp going up that steep section.
Yeah, back into the next drop. What a fantastic drone shot here, following Annette Grabmuller down through the forest. If you're watching this now, you're watching it live. This is such fantastic production we're bringing you today. It's a partnership between Česká Television and Piper Vision, by the way. And you are very lucky, dare I say it, to be watching this live, because an awful lot of work goes into bringing you these live shots from Prachatice. It is not easy. And I know Nicole, I can speak for Nicole, but she and I are delighted to be sharing it with you today as well. How close can Isla Headley come? Is she going to make the capture? And if she does, what does Annette Grabmuller do then? How does she rally from that point? It does look as if the momentum at the moment is with Isla Headley at this moment. And this is very exciting to be watching from a 20-year-old athlete who could be, I'm not going to speak too soon, but the way she's been running as well. Hello, what's going on here? They've gone the wrong way. They have gone the wrong way, I think. Wait to see it, though. Grabmuller's going back. Headley's not sure. Let's watch this, Nicole. Yeah, there is an official there, I think, pointed. They've actually gone, I think, into the funnel to take them into transition. I may be wrong there. Well, Grabmuller's shaking her head, but actually between her and Headley, actually that gap hasn't changed. All it means is that Serena Bratty has closed up the gap. Thankfully, Bratty and looks like Romy Spalder coming through now as well. They've closed the gap a little bit. They won't get that wrong the second time, but that's lap one complete. And a slightly nervous moment there, Nicole. Had me wondering.
Yes. Easily done, I guess, when you've got your head down in sort of race mode, and Isla would have just been following the wheel of Annetta there, and so fortunately it's not changed the positions too much, just cost them a little bit of time.
Yeah. I won't go into the details because I haven't seen the actual confirmed definitely what happened yesterday, but I know that Annette Grabmuller yesterday had an issue in transition. I'm not entirely sure it was her fault, but I think it will have caused her certainly some concern in transition in relation to where, I think it's to do with where her shoes were, something along those lines. I don't know the full details, so I won't report it here as fact. But I can't help but think, as we see her do that there, it's not necessarily her fault, by the way, going the wrong way there, but that could be, and yesterday's happening, I guess, Nicole, the pressure of being the home favourite.
Yeah, you're always going to feel a little bit of pressure as the home favourite, aren't you? The crowd's behind you, and you're going to want to win at the race that I guess is yours a little bit.
I've just noticed, by the way, Marta Mendito working her way through, Nicole. She's definitely moving up. I think she might be up into about 5th at the moment, the World Cup leader.
It's great to have the cameras through this forest here. They're really in the thick of this forest.
Yeah, and we've still got that fantastic now afternoon sunlight breaking through. It is just before 1:30 in the afternoon in Czechia as we bring you this round 9 of 11 in this year's biggest and best ever XTERRA World Cup.
And lots of support out on the course today for the athletes as well, right through into the trees, and everyone's getting out there and cheering them on.
So Romy Spulder is up into 3rd, the Dutch woman, and looking like she might be closing. Yes, she has been helped a bit by these two athletes going the wrong way. Grabmuller's done well to hang on to the lead, though. Actually, it did look like Isla Headley was going to come past her, but hasn't. If anything, I think in that turning around and going back moment, it's possible, Nicole, that Annette Grabmuller has suddenly noticed how close Isla Headley is, and she's got a bit of a shot of adrenaline.
Yeah, hopefully she won't burn too many matches out of frustration for that little mistake that she's had. She's wants to keep a sensible head, keep maintaining the effort that she was doing previously, and just stay calm with it, not going quite as she wanted on that after that first lap.
And there goes Romy Spulder, the Dutch athlete, looking like she's handling the technical elements of this course perfectly. She is another of those rising stars, the 24-year-old Dutch woman. And good to see a Dutch elite choosing to race XTERRA World Cup as well. The Dutch women in cycling in general, incredibly strong, and it's good to see one of their emerging athletes choosing to race as an XTERRA pro this year and last year making her breakthrough, and this year solidifying her position within the World Cup as well. She's currently 7th in the World Cup standings, and this would be a really good finish for her. She was 6th yesterday in the full distance event.
And we just saw Annette Grabmuller just checking over her shoulder to see what Isla Headley was then. She'll be very aware that she's hot on her heels at the moment.
Yeah, Headley herself yesterday was 9th. Let's not forget Grabmuller was 3rd yesterday. So going by that form, Isla Headley's got a fight on her hands, but she is looking at the moment like she's well up for the fight. I'll just point out to people, by the way, in terms of those World Cup standings, if you win a full distance round of the World Cup, you get 100 points. If you win a short track, understandably, it's slightly less. It's 75 points as well. Currently in the standings, Marta Bendito is just 10 points ahead of Alice Paches. Obviously, Paches is not here. She won't be scoring. Hannah Lee Young, we need to keep an eye on today, the Aussie, in the green, because she is currently in 3rd in the World Cup standings on 420 points. An opportunity to score more big points here today. She didn't have a brilliant day by her standards yesterday.
Yeah, and Annette just deciding to take that beeline this time on the course rather than going for that super steep, shorter option. But yeah, Isla looks like she's closing that gap a little bit. She's still right there on the wheel.
Could we be looking at something tactical here, Nicole, as in waiting for the run?
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, it'll be a good foot race between these two athletes.
And Romy Spulder will be looking to use her strong bike leg as well to get on terms with those two, at least before the run starts, because if they hook up together, Grabmuller and Headley, they're going to push each other on that run, I think, and there's a chance that Romy Spulder might not see them again. I don't know, but I think it would be probably in her favour as we follow the young Dutchwoman, Romy Spulder, along this bit of single track to try and get on terms with those two, or at very least keep them in her sights ahead of that run. She can probably just about see them disappearing through the base of the forest here as well. These are great shots, Nicole, aren't they?
They are, and so Romy Spolder's had some great results so far this season in the short track as well. So short track out in Alabama, where she finished third there behind Elise and Marta. So she's good at this short version of racing.
Yeah, the short track rounds so far, the opening round of the whole year back in Dunsborough for the Asia Pacific Championships, that was the first short track race. And then the next to them, of course, was in Oak Mountain in the USA, where we also brought you live coverage here on our YouTube channel, the XTERRA YouTube channel. This is the next to them. The last short track race is, of course, in Molveno in Italy, the final round of the World Cup before those full distance World Championships that weekend as well. Nicole Waterton and I will be on the ground again in Molveno in the Dolomites. It won't be long until we're there either. September 25th, weekend of September 25th, 26th, 27th, that time at the end of September. Hopefully lots of you watching and listening are going. It is the place to be at the end of the season. But today, this is the place to be in World Triathlon. Definitely the longest running XTERRA event of them all in Prachatice. And it is still a Czech athlete leading, something that the fans will have enjoyed as she made her way back past transition and out onto this lap 3 of 4. And if you notice, the course is getting that little bit more cut up as well, because it's not just the elites racing. This morning we've had sprint races, we've had the youngsters racing as well, plus all the races that used elements of this course yesterday as well. It's been well used. It's a full 2-day festival of cross triathlon, this, isn't it, Nicole?
Yes, I was just about to say these trails look in absolutely perfect condition, not too dry and dusty so that they're then slippy. It looks like they've got a real nice amount of grip on the trails, and they just look like a dream to ride.
Yep. You can see from the top of the shot there, Marta Mendito is in 4th, the World Cup leader. She will definitely want to better that. And the way she normally runs, I think she'll be hunting down Spolder, Headley and Grabmuller, at least going to do that. Don't rule Mendito out of the running for the win either. She's only 29 seconds down, well within, I'd say, running distance of trying to catch those 3 out front, which just serves to say, Nicole, that as always with these short track races, the finale should be pretty good.
It should be. So Marta's very, very quick once she gets onto that run. So she's not so far behind that you'd want to rule her out just yet.
The Grabmuller still leads. You can see from the timing, it's a slender gap over Isla Headley. And there was that sense that Headley had the opportunity to close up behind her and see if she could overtake. She's not done that for whatever reason. And actually, looking at that, I'd say that's slightly more than 5 seconds. Where is Isla Headley? Because that gap has really cracked open. It's as if Grabmuller, having worked on her bike extensively, she looks to her right as well and might have just seen that the gap has definitely opened up, Nicole.
It has, yeah. So there's maybe sort of 10 seconds or so now back to Isla Headley. So she's perhaps feeling it in her legs a little bit from yesterday. There's a big race for Isla yesterday. She's used to racing over sort of the shorter distances, being a young athlete. But yeah, it's nice to see her stepping up and taking on some of these longer races.
And here comes Marta Mendito. There is the World Cup leader going through on the red S-Works bike with the orangey kit. And she is just chasing down Romy Spolder, who depresses her saddle to get down the technical section. Marta Mendito all over her at the moment. And Mendito, I think, setting herself up for a really good run here as well.
Yeah, she's on a mission now, isn't she? She's flying down this trail.
Yeah, and in a way, once you get that close, Nicole, I guess, to Romy Spolder, the athlete in front, I talked earlier, slightly foolishly probably, about the whole drafting thing and the fact that you can ride in behind other riders. On a course like this, you don't want to because you can't see the trail in front of you. So once you're that close, you really want to make the pass, don't you?
Yeah, I think we'll see Marta sort of making that pass fairly soon. And I wonder actually if she'll then start to be able to pull Isla Headley back up to the front as well, if Isla will take that opportunity to use Marta to help bring her up to the front of the race.
Well, Annette Grabmuller still leads. She's not outswim everyone else and then just about hang on the course. Now she's actually extending leads and looking like she's doing that today. But one thing we can say is that Romy Spalda and Marta Mendito, but hang on a minute, it looks to me like they've actually come past. Where is Isla Headley? I don't think I saw her.
She's just in front of them
there
at the moment. They've
Is
not
she?
quite made
Right.
that catch yet. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I can just see her there in the shot. There she is, coming past us right now. The British athlete, I think, is definitely slowing. Whether that's, as you suggested, Nicole, whether that is because of yesterday, these athletes all did the race yesterday. I wonder whether maybe she pushed too hard at the beginning today to get back on terms with Grabmuller, and then maybe realised, oh, actually, Annette Grabmuller's got a little bit more on this bike than I thought, because Grabmuller's continued. You can just see Grabmuller in the front, though. They're not a million miles off. If, to be honest, at the moment, all four of these athletes could come together on the run.
Yeah, it's looking pretty tight between all of these, isn't it? And yeah, I mean, perhaps Isla went a little bit too fast at the start, but if you're not up the front, then you're not in a position to be winning it, are you? So kind of got to give it everything you've got over these short races.
Absolutely. Now we can see the riders bobbing away on this rooty trail here, able to run quite low pressures on this course as well, just to get a bit of extra grip across the roots, and in places slightly tacky mud, but it's so compacted and smooth around those roots. It's a pretty quick course. Worth me pointing out, the elite men, of course, do exactly the same distance and the same course as the elite women. Why wouldn't they? But it's not the same in every sport. Thankfully, in this one, it is. So we get to know this course now, watching it live with you lot at home, wherever you are around the world. XTERRA Czech, or XTERRA Czech Republic, depending on which way you want to call it. This is going back into the descent again, back into the fantastic drone shot, following the Dutch woman, Romy Spalda, as she tracks the World Cup leader, Marta Mendito.
And they'll just be making their way round to complete the third lap of the bike, so they'll have one more bike lap to go. And yeah, let's see if Marta can make the catch to the front on this final lap.
Yeah, Grabmuller gets the applause of the crowd as she goes back past transition, this time going the right way, notably. She knows that now. That will be a frustrating moment for her to go with the one she had yesterday in transition. Yesterday, she still made it count, though, finishing on the podium in third behind, well, one of the great female triathletes of all time, Barbara Riveros, the Chilean who won yesterday's full distance event. She was there, by the way, just to point out to people, primarily to score points ahead of another attack on getting an Olympic place at the next Olympics, choosing not to ride the elite short track race today. And now Romy Spalda riding also back out, as all of these elite athletes are in the lead, for their fourth and final lap of this 1.9 kilometre course along the rocky dam wall on the edge of this man-made lake in Cristanovici. Now, Emma de Croo here is in fifth place at the moment, and there is Lantalme, the youngster that we were looking forward to watching, Milo Lantalme. She's been enjoying the bike course, but not yet up into the top five. She's in as well. It should be Serena Bratti just behind her. I'm getting a chance to see a few more of the athletes. Serena Bratti in seventh now. Kerry-Ann Upham, the British athlete, in eighth. And Vanessa Andrita in ninth place, just ahead of Libby Greatrex, another of the British athletes. Hey, no British favour shown here, Nicole, but I have to say it is nice to see three British athletes all in the top 10, just outside the top 10, down in 17th place at the moment as well, Louise Fox. Also in there. Good to see a few more British athletes making the travels to race XTERRA World Cup this year. So we now know, you can see bottom right, that this is the final lap of this bike course. Annette Grabmuller, going into lap 2, looked like she was going to be caught, but if anything, she's really kicked on, and it's her now very familiar, recognisable, seated, powerful style, choosing to ride the steeper section the first time round, maybe seeing that Headley had closed in. Hello, look at this, talking about closing in. Headley's now been passed by Marta Mendito, and this is the Italian on a charge here. Mendito climbing so well. You can see how low and negative angle her stem is on the bike there to get herself over those big 29-inch wheels as well. She's a really compact rider, and she manages to just about make that S-Works bike fit her as well. She's a brilliant climber, and she is ripping through this course at the moment. This is ominous ahead of that final run, of which she probably is the fastest of the runners who are in the top 5 at the moment. So watch out, Annette Grabmüller. You have definitely got a fight on your hands.
Yeah, Marta just flew up that climb there, didn't she? She made it look really, really easy.
Yeah, it's anything but though, isn't it? But yes, you're right. She just looks so much quicker, and she is quicker. That is why she's ripping through this. It'll be interesting to look at the splits at the end. I'm assuming Marta Mendieta will have one of the very best bike splits, and that is definitely an area that she has improved over the last 12 months as well. Her bike leg has come on so much. She's always been traditionally one of the fastest runners, but the technicality of her bike handling has really improved, as it has to be said, Nicole, these XTERRA bike courses have become even more technical.
They have, and so it just shows how far the racing's come really. It's no longer enough to be either a good swimmer or a good biker or a good runner. You've got to be good at all three, and these athletes have really stepped up and pushed on all 3 disciplines, worked on their, I guess, strengths and weaknesses, and they're really good at all 3 sports.
Yep. Right. Part of my job is to build up the chase of Annette Grabmüller, to talk up the jeopardy, the fact that she might lose the lead. But the way she's raced this so far, leading from gun to tape, it has to be said, she'd be a worthy winner. Can she hang on through a smooth transition with no issues? She needs to have absolutely no stress in transition, because in a way, in fact, that's one thing that we do know about short track, Nicole, you and I, very clearly, is that there's even less room for error and mistakes in transition, including picking up penalties as well. You've got to tick every box.
Yeah, you have, and transition is going to be even more important today than it was yesterday, with it making up so much more of the overall race time, with it being such a short distance race. So they're going to be really smooth through that transition. These athletes will spend time practicing exactly what they're going to do for that transition routine. So it's rack your bike, helmet off, shoes on, and yeah, I'm not too sure what the entrance to the transition here is, as to whether they'll leave their feet in their shoes or if they'll take them off. But yeah, we'll have to see what they do when we get there.
Yeah, it's worth pointing out why Nicole's bringing that up, because traditionally in elite road triathlon, the athletes will leave their shoes on the bike and then run out in their socks straight into their run shoes. In the rough, bumpy terrain, sometimes it's quicker to run in bike shoes. These mountain bike shoes have got little studs on them and little grips and stuff. And also, crucially, Nicole, you'll know this well, I've experienced it myself as well, what you don't want to do is pick up stones and little bits of wood and stuff on your feet that you then force into your running shoe, because that is no fun on a run, running with a stone or a piece of wood sticking into the underside of your foot. I've done it, you've probably done it too. Not nice.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got a technical section of trail leading into transition, the last thing you want is your feet bouncing around on top of your shoes. So.
Yeah, exactly. Right, so Spalder and Headley are together at the moment, but they're together in third, because Marta Mendieta is now on an absolute charge. Again, though, they don't want to be following too closely, and Headley's can see that quite clearly. You want to have a little bit of clear space around you to take on the trail, whilst using the visual pacing of the athlete just in front. Who is going to raise their game on this 2-lap run? 2 laps of 1.3 kilometers. It's going to be over before you know it. So there's really, can you pace this final run, Nicole? I know I've asked you that question a few times. Hello, let's just watch. I'll come back to that question. Let's watch Grabmüller and what she chooses to do. She's undone the shoes, so it looks like she is going to lead. Yes, she is. She's going to go in bare feet. Let's hope she doesn't pick anything up. I can see some little pine cones there. That would not be fun.
Yeah, there's a little bit of time there, isn't there, for them to take the feet out of the shoes, but they've got to be really efficient at it to make sure that they're not crossing that mount line before they've got off their bike.
Yeah, Grabmüller, who had a real hello, Marta Mendieta, just I think shouting to let people know she's there. She's got the gold leader plate on the front of her bike. Shoes go on. She is now the favourite, Nicole. This is Annette Grabmüller's race to lose. I know Annette Grabmüller is the home favourite, but Marta Mendieta is so quick on this final run, but I have to say, not as quick through transition as Grabmüller, I think. She's really wrestling with her elastic laces and shoes there.
Yeah, just struggling a little bit to get her shoe on. Not cost her too much time. Hopefully that little bandage that she had on the foot is just perhaps some blisters from yesterday rather than an injury to her foot.
So Isla Headley out on the run, Romy Spalder out in fourth. Very close together, those two. Aneta Grabmuller of Czechia leading. This is Romy Spalder we're looking at now, running up that steep ramp away from transition, but you can see Marta Mendito in the lead there as well. Isla Headley chasing, even spacing between these elite women as well. They're going for a World Cup podium right now. Romy Spalder just maybe looking a little bit steadier at the beginning, the Dutch woman, but she'd be doing well even just to hang on for fourth place at the moment. I might be wrong, she might close just yet, but she's definitely started the steadier of those athletes as we look back at the highlights of what has been a really quick bike course. The issue at the beginning for Aneta Grabmuller and Isla Headley, just getting a little bit of a rush of blood to the head there. I don't know yet whose fault it was. We might hear from Aneta Grabmuller after the race, really, and I'm not looking to apportion fault. It happened, that's the point, and they overcame it. Nobody shifted positions as a result of it either, but it certainly closed things up a little bit at the front of the race. I mentioned, by the way, Nicole, didn't I, about what that can do to you as well. You get that shot of adrenaline, a little kick of sort of aggression to get over it as well. And that can help. I know it sounds strange, but it can help some athletes.
Yeah, she looks like she's running really smoothly here. So even if her legs are feeling tired, it's certainly not showing. No, she's a fantastic trail runner as well, and I noticed this, you might have seen this as well, Nicole, people at home might have seen it too. She actually rolled her ankle right over on the left side there, but just softened the ankle, just softened the knee a little bit and just ran on as if it hadn't happened. And of course, the best trail runners will be used to their ankles rotating in all sorts of different directions, and that's one of those things, I guess, that takes some of the road athletes, so I think we saw a little bit of this with Barbara Riveros yesterday, is it's not quite the same. Running a really fast 5 or 10k or something on the road, and then suddenly running in what is here, as you can see with the rocks and what have you, really technical terrain. Yeah, these athletes will do a lot of strength work to protect themselves from injuries and make sure that their ankles and the feet and everything are strong enough to cope with the terrain on these trails. But also, I think running off of a mountain bike is harder than running off a road bike too. I mean, I'm sure some people will argue with me on that, but so mountain biking is really physical, full body sort of effort to then go and run off of that. I definitely think that's harder than running off of a road bike.
I would agree. Definitely. The only thing I think to its advantage, the only thing that might help maybe is that at least on the mountain bike you're moving around quite a lot, and the longer the distance on the road bike, I think sat still in the one position means that you're not actually, do you know what I mean, you're kind of settling into one position, you get off it and you feel like you're still sitting down, whereas at least on the mountain bike you're out of the saddle a little bit more, but that just means you're loading your quads more as well ahead of that run. So I definitely know what you mean. Here's Isla Headley. Let's see how she's running. Certainly nice and loose on this downhill as well, picking her way through the trail. She is in third, as you can see, or there was in third coming out of transition. She's still there. Now, Aneta Grabmuller still in the lead. She's got a lovely clippy short step whenever it's going uphill as well. So sensible, not overstriding either. She often looks a little bit kind of sometimes a bit laboured, but actually it belies how quickly she is moving as well. She's not the sort of pure running stylist that we see with Marta Mendito. When we see Mendito, she's sort of much lighter on her feet, more upright as well. But the one thing Grabmuller absolutely is determined and extremely aggressive with all aspects of her race. Can she hang on?
Yeah, I've not seen a shot of Marta for a little while. I wonder if she's there we go.
This is a tough climb, Nicole. This is hard, isn't it? You can see it.
Oh, it is. You can see it in their faces. You can see it in that shortening of that stride length, and say on tired legs, this is going to be really tough.
Oh, dearie me. Also, we've just noticed Marta Mendito looking back and checking on the progress of this woman here as well, because Isla Headley is, she looks round too. I think this is a sign from all three of our leaders here at the moment that yesterday is taking its toll, and the speed of this short track race so far is really impacting them.
It is, yeah. So I'm not sure I'd still be running up that climb there. It looks horrible.
Well, it's funny you say that. To people maybe who aren't used to watching XTERRA, it's worth pointing out that we still see XTERRA races with really technical runs where even at times it's so steep that even the winner will choose to walk and press on their knees up some of the steeper bits of climbs. That's how steep and technical it can be. So even though we call it the final run, occasionally we do see in XTERRA places where actually, were you to try and run, you'll actually put yourself into great difficulty, and it's better to walk and put your hands on your knees just to get up the steep stuff. On this course, it's not quite steep enough for that. You can definitely see how much pace is knocked off going up through the forest there. Hey, look at this. Annette Grabmuller has nearly completed the first of her 2 laps, and crucially, she's still leading. And that means, of course, Nicole, she'll come back through transition. She'll get the massive cheer of the crowd again, that little kick on again of energy, and she's only got 1 lap to go. Marta Mendito is there. Can she hang on, the home favourite, for a big hit win here in the XTERRA World Cup? Marta Mendito is the current World Cup leader, and she is chasing her down, but she is working hard, Nicole. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, she is, and she'll be desperately trying to get onto the heels of Annette Grabmuller here. There's not much distance left now.
No, and she's into that horrible steep bank. That is one of them where there will be elite athletes today, I guarantee you, having to just semi-walk it up there and push with their hands on their knees. The man with his ratchet. And if we need that in our ears, look at the crowd here, and they're absolutely loving seeing this as well. A lot of these athletes have already competed today and have come back out to watch these elites racing for them, for themselves, and for you lot watching on television. Marta Mendito, the World Cup leader, the Italian, is chasing Annette Grabmuller down, but Grabmuller is so determined.
Marta was looking fairly calm and composed then, for saying she's just gone up this steep bank. So
yeah, Headley looks good, the British athlete, in third as well. She's looked the sort of lightest and most clippy coming out of that turn as well. She's got the bit between her teeth, but at the moment she's sitting on a podium. She doesn't want to lose it. I don't think she's closing on Mendito, but I don't think anyone is. I think at the end of this, we'll probably find that Marta Mendito's got the fastest of the bike splits and quite possibly the fastest run split. Let's see. Now, Romy Spalder is out in 4th at the moment. And Mia Lantelme, the French athlete, is also making her way through this field as well. She's having a great time. The teenager. Yes, and well, you might look back. There's me talking about Romy Spalder being one of the youngsters. She's being chased down by a teenager. Mila Lantelme working her way into this through her performances in the age group category races as well. The French woman, and she is currently in 5th place ahead of Emma De Croo and Kerry-Ann Upham. So an awful lot of experience amongst the elites around her, Lantelme, but she is racing so well. And there she is with the number 18 on her arms as well, the teenager. She runs into that steep, nasty... Who designed this? I want to know whose idea that was, Nicole. It's particularly cruel. Talk about getting yourself started with a bang. Oh.
Yeah, it's making for some very exciting racing, though.
Yeah, it has indeed. Right, that's the gap. Well, we're timing 7 seconds on the screen. There's a couple. You could fly a crow between the two of them, and there'd be no room for anything else either. They are nearly fully together, but there's no more transitions. There's nothing else to wait for. This is the final lap of this run, and the final run lap of this World Cup round, and a full weekend of action here at XTERRA Czech. It is coming together. It is slowly coming together between the 3 of them too, because Isla Headley is closing on Marta Mendito. Mendito is working very, very hard. She desperately wants to get back in the lead, but I think she's starting to struggle. The British athlete Isla Headley has got her in her sights as well. We actually could have Nicole here. I think possibly 1, 2 and 3 coming together for a sprint on the line like we had amongst the men last year. Of course, don't forget we had that fantastic finish between Felix Farissier, Arthur Serrier and Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen, and I've got a feeling we're about to have the same with the women. Marta Mendito, I'm going to say it quietly so she can't hear me, Nicole, she doesn't look too good. I think she's going through a bad patch here.
Oh, I don't know. She's really letting the legs go down these descents here, and she's looking really fast. I think she might make this catch, and then we'll have to see if Annette can go with this pace, or actually if Marta's spent all of her energy in the chase.
Oh my goodness me! Oh my
There
goodness
we go.
me! It's so close. It is so close, but where is Isla Headley? Because I'm sure it looked, maybe our camera shot was foreshortening the gap. It looked like Headley was closing in. Here is the catch right now. Annette Grabmuller has led from the swim. Let's see what happens as Marta Mendito just comes up alongside her. Does she need to yet? She doesn't need to push past too hard. Doesn't appear to be anything being said between the two athletes, of course. They are both contesting for the win here today. Annette Grabmuller has got to grab on to Marta Mendito and see if she can muller her at the finish. We are about to find out as well. And there's an expression I've never used before or even thought of. She comes past her again. She wants to lead Annette Grabmuller because she knows if she gets near to transition, the crowd will be absolutely baying her on. And that might be doing for Marta Mendito. Look at the gap. The gap's opening up again.
Yeah, so it was the descent where Marta managed to catch Annette there, but Annette's obviously still got something left in the tank to be able to charge up that climb like that.
Oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness me. We were thinking, naturally, looking at previous form, that the World Cup leader, Marta Mendito, was just going to cruise past her there. But Annette Grabmuller, notably again, so strong on the steep climbs. You're right, Nicole. Look at this now. We get back into the slightly downhill action, and the clippy, light, rolling feet of Marta Mendito means she cruises back up to the back of Annette Grabmuller. This is going to be close.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
seeing
wasn't
anything.
sure Annette was going to have an answer for Marta then, but...
Yeah, she did. And she's gutsy and strong. So let's see what she can raise in a sprint finish, because I think it might take that. They are now hammering back down this hill through the forest. Look at their faces as well. This is going to be an absolute battle for a World Cup win. Don't worry about the World Cup overall at the moment. We'll come on to that. Let's just focus purely on the win. Marta Mendito is leaning in and rolling down this hill. Annette Grabmuller, who's led the whole race until this point, trying to stay with her. And at the moment, she is doing it.
Oh, what a race from these ladies today. Oh, I can't wait to see this finish.
Absolutely. Annette Grabmuller right on her heels. No room for mistakes, though. It's technical in here. Look out for your feet as well. Annette Grabmuller hanging on to Marta Mendito. Either one of these two women would rightly deserve to win this race. They do appear now to have stretched away from Isla Headley, the young British athlete who's had a fantastic performance. But this is the World Cup leader from the home athlete, the Czech athlete, Annette Grabmuller, and they're rounding in on the line. Here we go. Marta Mendito starts to stretch out. What has Grabmuller got left as they come back towards the finish line? They've got to go past transition. Mendito trying to stride away with this one. Grabmuller right on her heels. Has she got what's left? Has she got anything left to come round her? They've got to go back up the steep ramp again.
Oh, no.
I didn't realise we had to go up here, and this is where Grabmuller's at her best as well. Up and over the top, and she's gone left. She's going to win this. Annette Grabmuller's going to take a victory on home turf, or is she? Yes! Oh my gosh, the fans will be going nuts in Prachatice, and what a deserved victory. She actually has led from gun to tape, and she's had a battle with one of the best in the world. Marta Mendito, what a performance. What a sprint finish between these two, Nicole.
Wow, that was amazing.
Oh my goodness me. Oh, what a return to late Cristano Vici. What a brilliant
It's always
return to the
so
XTERRA World Cup.
exciting to see the athletes push each other like that. What a finish.
Oh, it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant, wasn't it? And what a performance by this young lady, Isla Headley, in third on the podium here in the World Cup for, if I'm not mistaken, her first time. And this has been coming. We have to say, this has definitely been coming for Isla Headley. She's used this course perfectly. Look at her form on the steep ramp as well. Very, very strong running from her and a great bike leg too. She's going to be on the podium here in XTERRA, Czech Republic for this round of the World Cup as well, and building nicely towards the end of the year as well. There's our podium. My goodness me. There's moments in that race, Nicole, where it really did look like Grabmuller was going to just hang on and try and be somewhere on the podium. But she is the winner of this, round 9 of the XTERRA World Cup. This is Romy Spolder coming in now in 4th place, the Dutch woman. Good round all disciplines in actual fact today. Pretty much holding 4th place most of the race, if not all of it in actual fact, the Dutch woman. And she too has got that nasty steep ramp. I'm going to do my best to find out today, maybe before we come off air, who the course designer was and whose idea that was. Nasty. And we like it, of course. So Spolder in 4th place. Let's see the finish of Mia Lantelme, another of our emerging sporting teenagers as well. We're just going to see that sprint again. Let's have a look at it, because it was, at times, it looked like Marta Mendito was going to break Annette Grabmuller. But one thing Annette Grabmuller has got in spades is guts and determination. She just does not give up, Nicole.
She doesn't, and so she's had that. I think it was a knee injury that she's had this year that she's had to work hard to get through and to come back this strong. It's what a fantastic race from her.
What a sprint as well. We're going to be seeing that one again. We'll be replaying that for months to come. Another fantastic finish in the XTERRA World Cup here, particularly in the short track. And the short track just keeps paying us back in spades. That's why we tend to focus on it in our coverage here on the YouTube channel at XTERRA and XTERRA Planet, because it's such rich racing as well. This looks like Emma De Croo now coming in as well for 6th, if I'm not mistaken. We might have missed Mila and Telme finishing. I think we did, just while we were having a look at the replay there as well. And this is Kerry-Ann Upham, the next of the British athletes. 2 British athletes in the top 10 here today as well. Even there, still having to measure out the effort up there. Pretty even gaps between the athletes now at this time. Kerry-Ann Upham. Just looking to see where she finished. She was 4th yesterday. So certainly enjoying the longer distances yesterday, but no slouch today in 7th in this short track World Cup, as we see already our elite men doing their warm-ups, getting themselves ready in the background as well. We're going to roll straight into coverage of the elite men's race after this. So don't go anywhere, will you? You've got an insight now into the course and how it works. We definitely have, Nicole. As we watch Emma De Croo having just finished there, I'll just talk everyone through where we are. I think we've just seen Camille Jobard finish as well. Hannah Lee Young just coming in 9th. The Australian athlete committing to a full season of XTERRA World Cup action this year. Looking at the way she's been going this year, though, Hannah Lee Young, this has been an okay weekend, I'd say, and she won't mind me saying this, but she'll have been hoping for more this weekend, definitely. Nicole, before we start to bring interviews and what have you, just very quickly, what have we learnt about the course there in the elite women's race ahead of the start of the men's race?
Oh, it's a tough course, isn't it? Which Annetta was talking about at the start. Yeah, very, very tough course, but it looks a lot of fun.
Oh, it does. It's got a bit of everything as well, hasn't it? The bike course, to me, very reminiscent of the Oak Mountain course. Very similar in terms of the features, and that kind of makes sense because these elite athletes are all preparing for the same World Cup series, those of them that compete across the whole World Cup series, and so it does make sense that the features kind of mimic the levels of technicality. Anyway, let's hear from our leading athletes, and it'll probably be in reverse order. Let's see our top 3 athletes.
Okay, I'm here with Isla, 3rd place in your first ever XTERRA short track. Tell me what your first emotions are.
I'm really happy. Yeah, it was just a super competitive race, and yeah, really pleased with how it went.
And talk me through your race. You know, you didn't lead out the swim. We thought you were going to do that, so you didn't have it your own way from the start. How did you fight back on the bike?
I just try to use the downhills because I think that's my strength, and just like go all out on the uphills, trying to stick with the girls. Didn't quite work out, but I managed to claw it back on the run. Yeah, so super happy.
And what's so special about XTERRA racing?
The atmosphere. It's so like friendly and fun. Like it's such a nice environment to be racing in. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Isla. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Doug Hall with the interviews there, or at least it sounds like Doug. I think it's Doug. We look back at a replay now of what has been a fantastic round 9 of 11 in the XTERRA World Cup here in XTERRA, Czech Republic, from Prachatice, back at its spiritual home where short track racing all started. And this is as I say, the longest running XTERRA World Cup, going all the way back to 2002. If you want to see the whole history of XTERRA, by the way, and you're watching this for the first time, it all goes back to 1996. That's how we're rounding in on the 30th year of XTERRA next year. If you go to xterraplanet.com, There's some fantastic pieces on there about the history of XTERRA, going right the way back to those first ever World Championships back in 1996 in Hawaii on Maui, where we saw Michelle Jones and Jimmy Riccitello take the first wins. In fact, oddly enough, I've been commentating on his son riding this week in the Tour of Poland, the cycling for television as well. So the Riccitello name living on. And we look now at a still, calm and ready Lake Kristanovici ahead of the elite men's race, which is due to start straight after this. There's confirmation though of the top 10. Home favourite living up to the billing after a tricky day yesterday. Annette Grabmüller getting the win ahead of World Cup leader Marta Mendito, and Isla Headley confirming her status as one of the upcoming elites of the sport in third place. More interviews upcoming, so we'll probably, I suspect now, be hearing from Marta Mendito. Let's see how disappointed she is.
Wow, what a race that was. You had us all on the edge of our seats there, Marta. Clawing back time the entire race and just fell short at the end, but you gave us one hell of a show.
Yeah, it was a really nice short track. I think maybe the best of my life, and it was really a nice battle with Aneta. She was really strong today, and I'm happy to have finished in a sprint. I'm not really good at sprint, but Aneta was really strong today, and I'm happy that she won at home. I know that it's really emotional to win at home, so I'm both happy for me and for her, so that's good. A really good show, I think.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. One hell of a show.
Thank you.
Well, Doug's absolutely right. It was one hell of a show. He's absolutely right. And there's the happy winner. It will do no end of good to Marta Mendito's World Cup tally, that's for sure. But it was a paper's width between those two. And notably, Annette Grabmüller doing the sensible thing of cutting that corner. Nicole, if we're to learn anything from this, maybe if she were to look back, do you think if Marta Mendito had hugged really tight or maybe even grabbed that post on the inside when we got to the top of the steeps bank, I'm presuming Annette Grabmüller wouldn't have come past her in that corner?
Perhaps. I mean, and I think Annette had was planning on taking that line, wasn't she? And
short track. You gave us one hell of a show there. Didn't make it easy for yourself out there, but you know, I think you made some Czech fans extremely happy.
You know, the guys always have such a thrilling finishes, so I was like, for once, we have to deliver.
To be honest, I think that outranks everything we've ever seen before. It's so good to see you guys racing fairly, racing cleanly, but providing some proper entertainment. But talk me through it. Where did you find that last strength for that last run leg? Marta was coming so quickly and you just found something.
I don't know, in the transition area, I thought she broke me. I felt like, okay, I can't push anymore. But then we went up the hill and there were so many people screaming, and I was like, okay, I actually know I was a bit stronger in the uphills. Let's just try the last push, and it worked. I can't believe it did.
So just let's answer in your native tongue, should we say? But just want to say, talk a little bit about how happy you were here to race and what it means to win at home.
In Czech.
In Czech.
Je to úplně neskutečný, tahle atmosféra tady, spoustu diváků, kteří mi fandili jménem, já jim hrozně moc děkuju, dneska jste mě hnali a je to vítězství pro nás, pro všechny.
Thank you very much, Annette. What a show.
Thank you.
I'm very disappointed that Doug Hall didn't reply in Czech as well. Next year, please, Doug. Let's have a look back at how it unfolded. And boy, did they put on a great show, the elite women. Men, if you're listening, you've got a lot to live up to. It's going to have to be good to beat that one. Let's have a look back at how it all unfolded, shall we? As we expected, it was Annette Grabmüller leading that swim, but she didn't have it all her own way as well, because there was definitely competition coming from some of the youngsters in there too. The colour swim caps always keeping us guessing a little bit, but we were always on the lookout for the light blue cap of Annette Grabmüller as well. Swimming particularly well, Serena Bratti and Vanessa Andrita, the two Italians, until we had this problem. Isla Headley was closing in on Annette Grabmüller. They went the wrong way coming into transition, but then Grabmüller seemed to get a second win from that. All the while behind, a time trial was being ridden. It was the World Cup leader, Marta Mendito. using her rapidly improving and still improving bike form to really rip through this field. The steep bank suiting both her and Grabmuller. That was the moment that Grabmuller ran out. It appeared that Mendito took a little while getting those wet feet into the shoes. That was the moment where I saw Grabmuller roll her ankle. No issue for her though, just rolling on. And Mendito gradually opening up. At that point there, Isla Headley was actually looking like she was closing, but it was these two coming together. They pushed each other on a little bit more, and that was the moment that Grabmuller went up the inside, and actually I'll take it back, Nicole, because she'd already come up the inside and effectively had squeezed the gap on the inside anyway, beating Marta Mendito. What a fantastic sprint finish from Aneta Grabmuller. A lot of other athletes, well, I know for sure, Nicole, if I was talking about myself, I'd have crumbled when I was passed by Marta Mendito. But unfortunately, for me, and fortunately for her, Aneta Grabmuller is made of something else. She does not give up.
No, and so the home crowds would have been amazing to race amongst today. So she'd have been having a great time out there. And so hearing from Isla, she also had a great time out there and didn't even hesitate when she said it was the atmosphere that she loved about the racing.
Well, we now turn our attention to our elite men. Let's look back at how things unfolded. Just like the women, of course, they do exactly all the same rounds. We started out in Dunsborough in Australia, and it was Jens Emil Sloth Nelson getting 2 wins back-to-back as well. Kieran McPherson was enjoying himself out on course, the Kiwi. But Jens Emil Sloth Nelson starting the season so well, the Dane. And Kieran McPherson also biking incredibly well to remind us that he is one of those emerging stars. Rolling on to Vouliagmeni in Greece. And Jens Emil Sloth Nelson looking to continue that performance, defending his winning. But in fact, it was the emergence of Felix Forissier, back where seemingly he belongs, taking the win ahead of Jens Emil Sloth Nelson. Then the brand new round in the beautiful Weston Park in the United Kingdom as well. And we saw some fantastic performances there. Emergence of Will Draper, the British athlete, but he was bettered by Felix Forissier, getting 2 World Cup wins in a row. That took us to Oak Mountain on the first very wet day, the full distance event as well. And Felix Forissier continuing that winning form as well ahead of Sullivan Midar. Well, the following day, it was actually in the short track race that Sullivan Midar got his revenge. Coming together with Felix Forissier on the technical trails of the forest around Oak Mountain. You can just see him tracking and then taking the win. American athlete, so dominant on home turf as well. That took us on to Quebec in Canada, Lac de Lage to be precise. And Felix Forissier this time looking to make things not quite so close. He won ahead of Michele Bonacina. That took us to yesterday. And the Triathlon Europe Championships in Prachatice right here. Similar conditions to today, nice and sunny. And it was Felix Forissier taking the win ahead of Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen. That sets things up nicely for today. And this is where the World Cup standings are. Felix Forissier in the gold jersey, but look at that, on the same points as his brother. Felix and Arthur Forissier back to where they were prior to Arthur's injury of last year, back to jostling for top position. There they are, ranked first and second in the world, only first and second because Felix Forissier has won the latest round. Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen taking a break in the middle of the season to go and race long distance, and look who's back! Arthur Serrier is back for the end of this season, and he will be a big threat today. Lucas Coquart as well had an issue in the long distance event, the full distance event yesterday, and he normally bounces back from those kind of issues. Let's see if he can do it again today.
So I remember the first short track was Majepi in Czech Republic, just in the same lake. And that was a fun experience to discover this new world of short track. And I was happy enough to win the first ever edition, so I'm really proud about this. And I have a newspaper talking about it, and my grandfather put it in his house, so that's fun.
Yeah, so last year it was a pretty incredible short track here in Czech Republic. I remember we was third with Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen and Arthur Serrier all around the run race. So yes, it was just pretty tough race and pretty difficult race. And I remember I finished at the sprint with Arthur Serrière, so I was winning. So it was just incredible and pretty enjoying race.
Well, I've got a feeling we might be set for more of the same again this time. We had an incredible finale last year. The women have done their best shot at bettering it this time, and I think they might have done that. The sprint finish between Mendito and Grabmuller was brilliant just now. Last year's top 10, by the way, there's only 2 athletes that aren't back this year, and they're Max Chanet, who was 5th, the Frenchman, and Dominic Wichera, the Austrian, who was 9th. Everyone else is here, including Felix and Arthur Farissier, both in brilliant form. Michele Bonacina, Sebastian Neef, as you can see. Kieran McPherson, the Kiwi, back to enjoy this bike course here today, as is Ben Forbes. Those two will be ripping on the trails. I have no doubt about that. And we roll down, as you can see, all 31 athletes. Look out for Lucas Coca. He had I believe, a disqualification yesterday due to an in-race issue, and he normally bounces back very well from that. I think he had a similar thing happen to him before, previously on a double weekend, and bounced back the next day by absolutely smashing the short track. Let's see if that will happen again. 31 men, locked and loaded, ready to go. Exactly the same course and distances as the women, as you might expect. And just to remind you what they are, 400 metres on the swim, 7.6 kilometres on the mountain bike, that's 4 laps, and that 2-lap, 2.6 kilometre final run. Talking as a duathlete here. The run. So we're going in World Cup order as well, in their ranking order. As I say, the Farissier brothers, there they are, going in together. They are on exactly the same points in the World Cup as well, with just 2 more rounds to go. But they're separated by the win rate of Felix Farissier. Arthur Farissier has been so consistent this season without injury, but he's not yet won a round. And that's the crucial thing. The rounds so far have all been won by either Felix Farissier, Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen, and that 1-round win on the short track of Oak Mountain by Sullivan Midart. The American is not here. We expect to see him probably, I think, back in Molveno at the end of the season. This is the rest of our male elite athletes ready to go. This is going to be pretty exciting, Nicole, and it will be fascinating to see the battle, dare I say it, the battle of the Farissiers as well. Not least with Arthur Serrière, the 3-time world champion, the only athlete ever to win 3 in a row, coming back at it like this. They go and line up alongside their start boy as well. So a slightly bigger field, 31 athletes. We expect Michele Bonacina to be up there, as we always do. He's wearing a blue swim cap. He is known at times as the Shark. He is affectionately known as the Shark. He's a very mild-mannered man, but he is, pound for pound, over the last few years, the best swimmer in Elite XTERRA, for sure. Might get a bit of competition.
Another athlete that we need to watch out for today, in Emile Bilal. He led out the swim yesterday, over 30 seconds ahead of some of our swim favourites. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on in this short track today.
Right, we will watch that. Good pointer. Thank you, Nicole. We will see how Bilal goes, how much competition he can give Michele Bonacina, or if Bilal, quite possibly, pushes Bonacina on himself, because so often we see Michele Bonacina leading out front, settling into his own rhythm. If he's got a bit of competition chopping round his ears, that might not be a bad thing for him.
No, someone to sort of push up the front of the bike with him.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If those two lead, let's see. Let's not forget, at the end of the day, much as we like to have specialists, unfortunately for everyone, Felix Farissier will be right up there. I'd expect to see him exiting. I mean, he could exit first from the swim. He is that good on the swim, isn't he?
He is, yeah. And I think Felix had quite a good battle with Jens yesterday as well. So perhaps they're maybe carrying a little bit of fatigue into today's race. But I think we'll see Jens make his way up to the front of the race throughout the bike course too.
Yeah, so just to remind people of yesterday's result in those European cross-tri championships as well. Here, not on exactly the same course, but using the same transition, same forest, same lake, obviously. It was Felix Faurisset who won in that sprint finish with Jens Emil Sloth-Nielsen, and it was Arthur Serrière, the three-time world champion, in third. Sebastian Caraban, the Belgian, in fourth, and Arthur Faurisset, adding to his World Cup points, but in fifth. And they're off for this first of their 2-lap swim. When we zoom out, we'll get a little idea. Two athletes split a little bit wider as they make their way out to the turn buoy as well. We haven't seen anyone. We certainly didn't see anyone in the elite women's race getting it wrong and going a little bit off track. Thankfully, it's a fairly straightforward short swim. This, I say, Nicole, talking to everyone as a self-confessed numpty swimmer, me.
So I'm going to see quite a fight going around this first turn buoy. So maybe only sort of 100-200 meters from the start line. So yeah, quite a close pack of swimmers here. They're all going to be wanting to find a little bit of clear space in that water, just so they can get into the swim stroke a little bit better.
It looks like Federico Spinazzi we're looking at there, but Michele Bonacina is leading in the blue swim cap. I think they are the swimmers in second and third. It looks like a blue cap out front just taking that turn. Watching it though, I might be wrong. Remember, the gold cap is being worn by Felix Faurisset, the World Cup leader. It's a feature always in the XTERRA World Cup that we give the gold cap to the overall World Cup leader. That looks like Bonacina with a blue cap on. He is number 3, and he'll exit and then start again for his second lap of this swim. The women rip through it in under 6 minutes. The leading guys will possibly be a little bit quicker. We will see. There's the gold cap of Felix Faurisset. I said he'd be right up there as well, not far from the front. He appears to be battling in that little group just behind Michele Bonacina, who is doing what the shark does. In fact, this is as dominant as I've seen him all season in this very, very short distance, Nicole.
It is, yeah. So he knows he's got to put in a good swim here. He likes having that clear space, getting out onto the bike and sort of pushing from the front. We've seen that in many short track races already. He's first into that transition. He pushes on the bike and stays out front for as long as he can, and maybe one day he'll stay out the front the whole way.
Ooh, yeah, a bit of a slip there for one of the athletes. I'm not sure that wasn't actually Scotty Anderson. It looked like his form. They ripped through this very, very short run exit onto the sandy bit and straight in again. There's Kieran McPherson quite a long way down there, but strong bikers like him won't have a great problem with that. It'll be all about measuring things out. I think one thing, though, that we can learn from the elite women's race, Nicole, tell me if you disagree with me by all means, but it struck me that it's possibly even more single tracky and less fire roads and overtaking places than we have on most of the other courses. I think this is one of the hardest World Cup courses to overtake on.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, it's taped fairly wide, so there is the space if you're creative with your long choice, and you're obviously, I guess, careful of not taking the other rider out as you go around. But I think there is still opportunity to overtake, and perhaps we'll see some of that in the men's race as well.
Yeah, as a reminder, 2-lap swim, and then we have a 4-lap bike course as well. So no excuse for not getting to know exactly how things work. I suspect these elite men, we know they've been there in transition ready to go, or alongside transition ready to go. They may well have seen what happened with Annette Grabmuller going the wrong way at the end of the bike course. Of course, our brilliant marshals as well will have redoubled their efforts in making sure that none of the athletes do that again. So it's highly unlikely we will see that in the men's race. But it is something that happened to our winner in the elite women's race, going ever so slightly the wrong way, going back and having to correct again while in the lead, and still managing to pull off the win from that as well. There's a pretty big spread there amongst our 31 elite athletes here.
Yeah, Bonacina's really gone for it already, hasn't he? That's a big gap that he's opened up.
Yeah, and actually, it's been a while in our coverage. We've seen him swim quite so predominantly. He has had a little bit more competition this year, but he's continued to improve all the other elements as well. He's very much an all-rounder. That's almost why, Nicole, I have to be honest, I almost don't like using the nickname of the Shark, because it makes him sound one-dimensional. It's not. He's actually a brilliant mountain biker as well, and a really solid runner. So he's not just some swimmer who then gets on a bike and sticks his elbows out hoping no one comes past. There is none of that about him at all. He's a proper all-rounder.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's certainly this year had, I think, his most consistent season as well. Bonacina. He was second in Australia in the full distance. It's actually over the longer distances where he's continued to get better as well. Second in Quebec as well.
Out of the swim.
Yep.
I think it'll be the gold cap of Felix that we see next. He's had a really good swim today.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought he'd be one of the first three out. There goes off the swim cap for the World Cup leader as well.
Lucas Kochel there going through as well.
Yep. And it'll need to be a very quick transition from all of them. Felix Forissier out in second, chasing Michele Bonacina. There he is, helmet on. So little room for error in these transitions.
Yeah, that was a smooth transition there from Bonacina.
And Lucas Kokar, it was out, swim out in third, the Czech athlete. So another Czech athlete on home turf. Looking to get the benefits of the crowd. Nearly got that one wrong as well. So once again, in the sprint format, in these short track races, you've not got your head on properly. There's very little time to correct errors. Michele Bonacina out in the lead. He's being followed by Felix Forissier, Manuel Cossu, the Italian, Lucas Kokar out as well, Federico Spinazzi also having a good swim as he always does, Arthur Serriere. Let's look out for Arthur Serriere as well. Let's see where he is in the red. That's Federico Spinazzi. He has Lucas Kokar with him. Serriere should be just behind them, the three-time world champion, who's really chosen, as he so often does, the end of the season, this second half, to get himself going. This was the start of the swim. Short highlights of our very short swim as well, but a Michele Bonacina domination again. Emil Bilal in the end out 7th from that swim, so not quite able to match his brilliant swim yesterday. Possibly a little bit of fatigue, but then also maybe he's one of those swimmers, potentially, I can't really say, Nicole, but I'm guessing, who just needs a bit more time in the water to really make the most of his stroke.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, he was still up there near the front, wasn't he? Not too far off the lead there.
No, indeed. Here comes the chase. And believe me, the chase will be on. Michele Bonacina knows it. He is the hunted. He's the one out front who's got to just get into his little hurt locker, slam the lid shut and rock on with it. Try not to think too much about those behind. And he tends to climb well on the steeper climbs as well, so I think he'll quite enjoy this. He's gone for the full suspension bike, not locking out the suspension on the climb there either, so the bike floating around nicely underneath him. Tall rider, of course, so yeah, making the most of that 29er. Pops the saddle back down for the descent, and here we get to see him in full float. Looking good as well, Bonacina. This is Federico Spinazzi. He's also had a good swim. The two Italians usually quite close coming out of the swim anyway. And let's see how close they finish in this race. This is World Cup leader Felix Forissier. Once again, the dominant athlete of the year. But I need to remind people that historically, over the last couple of seasons, the person who is Felix Forissier's nemesis is Arthur Serriere. He is in this race, fellow Frenchman, of course. But when Serriere is really firing, he is the one athlete who consistently can beat Felix Forissier. Jens Emil Sloth-Nielsen, yes, likewise. But when it's come to championship times, that's why Arthur Serriere is the three-time world champion. At his very best, Arthur Serriere is almost unstoppable. He's in this field. He finished third yesterday, and he does love a short track race too. He was also, of course, beaten last year by Felix Forissier. And I can't help but think, Nicole, he might be out for revenge. Whether he said it or not, I'll say it.
Yeah, I think Arthur might have been feeling a bit tired yesterday. It's been a little while since he's raced, and he's put in some really solid work with his training. So I think he's perhaps still a little bit tired from a training camp at altitude that he did. So maybe yesterday's race woke his legs up a little bit, and he'll be out there. Yes, and trying to come back to the front today.
That is interesting, isn't it, to hear increasingly about our XTERRA professionals, our elites here, using altitude training camps to peak for their season as well. Some of these athletes, like Michele Bonacina, really targeting the World Cup, race every single round. And then we've got others like Jens Emil Sloth-Nielsen, who's taken this break in the middle of the season to go and race long distance stuff on the road and then come back to XTERRA, having won at the beginning of the year. He'll hope to come back to Molveno in the Dolomites at the end of the year maybe, and here, and see if he can be back in winning form again. Let's see if it works for him, because it's worth me pointing out with the World Cup, there's no joker. Every single round counts. So really, the athletes like Felix Farissier who want to win the World Cup, they kind of need to race every round. And even when you do race every round, you still might have one where you either get a disqualification or you get a mechanical and don't finish. So you've got to be in it to win it all the way through the season.
And here is Arthur Serrières with Arthur Frisier closely following behind. They're slowly making their way forwards.
Yeah, they're chasing this guy, Federico Spinazzi, who's on his own. Spinazzi has in front of him Lucas Kokar, Manuel Kosu, and then that duo of Felix Farissier, Michele Bonacina out front. The Serrières group back there is in about 5th, 6th place, something like that at the moment. Bonacina still leads on this first of 4 laps. First lap nearly complete now as well for Michele Bonacina, the Italian, looking confident, but look at the charge coming from behind him and out of the saddle too, driving out of that corner, probably just seeing him. It's Felix Farissier, the World Cup leader, who's got the shark in his sights.
Yeah, Felix isn't going to be wanting to wait around for Arthur or Jens today. He's going to want to push on and get to the front of that race.
This is a good ride by Federico Spinazzi ahead of Arthur Serrières there. And that is Lucas Kokar. Lucas Kokar being followed by a very cool and calm looking Arthur Serrières, just having a little look around. He looks cool as you like.
I was about to say, it looks like he's just chilling there, just enjoying himself out for a bike ride.
Well, as we know, Nicole, I've said it, and I'm trying not to hype it too much, but Arthur Serrières at his best, very best, I think he's almost unbeatable across the disciplines. He's, to my mind, Arthur Serrières, certainly in the men's side of the game, is literally the perfect XTERRA athlete, and I would not be surprised to see him take a 4th World Championship win as well, to put his name right up there with the great Conrad Stoltz as well in the history books.
Yeah, we certainly get some exciting racing, don't we?
Yeah, no, that's for sure. We're not at World Championships just yet, of course. We've got this round to complete. Then, of course, we've got the race in Zittau in Germany before we get to Molveno in the Dolomites as well. You can catch it all here and on xterraplanet.com and on our YouTube channel as well, where we do updates and roundups from all of the rounds as they're completed. Plus, it's such a great place for you lot to get to know these athletes a little bit better. Felix Farissier is going to be getting to know Michele Bonacina a little bit better. They know each other well enough anyway, racing on the World Cup circuit together. These are 2 of the athletes who do all the rounds as well. They are dedicated XTERRA pros, these 2. And Felix Farissier sniffs another World Cup 75 points, which would come with the win, but Michele Bonacina is also right up there as well. He is in 3rd in the World Cup standings at the moment, the man leading at the moment. He has 502 points to Felix Farissier's 567. So let's imagine right now, I wouldn't wish this on anyone, but imagine Felix Farissier's bike snapped in half and he didn't finish. Michele Bonacina would actually go straight into the World Cup lead. That's how these things work. 75 points for the winner. So not only have you got to get the whole race right, you've got to have no mechanical issues. You need to get through and actually score, and then score as highly as you can. It's a brutal, no laps out kind of World Cup series, isn't it, for the overall, Nicole?
Yeah, and it's very, very close at the top of that leaderboard at the moment, isn't it? Both Felix and Arthur on the same number of points, I believe.
Yep. Yes, they are. Split only by wins. That's the slightly cruel thing. We saw last season Arthur Farissier spending the whole year coming back from injury, really spending most of the year out, having started the year strongly. But he's come back this year, found his consistency, but hasn't won in the way that he has in the past just yet. And it's partly because his younger brother, Felix, has just kicked on during the course of the last year and become Mr. Consistent.
And that's Felix taking the lead of this race now.
Yeah, and I guess this is where now we talk about the benefit of being out first from the swim for our leader, Michele Bonacina, well, erstwhile leader. Now, though, he has that dual benefit of following the leader. He can follow and use Felix Forissier as his carrot. So once again, he's got a really good target in front of him that's going to lead him on. Everything about being out of the swim first does help you, because even if you do get caught, you've got probably one of the best bikers in the course anyway in Felix Forissier right there to keep tracking. Nicole, who else do you think of this bike course, on this bike course, who else of the men should we be expecting to see working their way through?
So I think we'll see Jens Emil making his way through. So we've not seen him yet in this, which I say just speaking of, that's him there, isn't it? Yeah, so Jens is
he catches us out. He wears the opposite kit, and this time it's just black shorts, red top. I swear he has a different kit every time he races these World Cups, but today very simple, black and red. But yeah, good pick. Anyone else?
There's another one, Ben Forbes. Apparently he didn't have a great race on Saturday, but he's been really enjoying this technical bike course, and going for all the jumps and the gaps and things, and just been having a great time out on it. So it'd be good to see if he can make his way forwards, and we get to see him on the coverage at some point.
Yes, indeed. Yes, I'd like to see the way he's handling that technical descent as well. He's got a certain amount of flow about him, has the Aussie, and we'll look forward to seeing that, hopefully. This is Forissier, though, who is, as I've said, so good at all three disciplines, seemingly the ultimate all-rounder. And at the moment, he's just extending his lead. He's one of those on the bike, actually, who never looks he doesn't look... Well, I talk about the flow. We talk about the flow of Ben Forbes. Forissier doesn't have that kind of same easy flow about him on the bike, but it's ruthlessly effective.
No, I mean, obviously a benefit of being out at the front now is that he can ride at his own pace, he can choose his own lines, he's not got to worry about athletes around him at the moment. So he can just really focus on what he's got to do.
Hey, we have got both Forissiers on a charge here, and here comes Jens Emil Sloth-Nielsen, who's closing in on Bonacina. Bonacina's been overlapped, and now we have both Forissier brothers in first and second in this race. There's Arthur Serrier, the three-time world champion. He's also working his way through. There's Lukas Kokar, definitely looking a lot better today, the Czech athlete. There is the leading Czech athlete, who is following on from that Annette Grabmüller win in the elite women's race. If you weren't with us for that, go back and watch it. It's earlier in this video. At the moment, both Forissier brothers in a position that really I don't remember seeing them like this since prior Arthur Forissier's injury. So this is so good to see. There goes a move from Jens Emil Sloth-Nielsen up the inside of Michele Bonacina. Sloth-Nielsen now up into third. He's just on the back wheel of Arthur Forissier, but I don't think those three can quite clearly see the lone leader, Felix Forissier. Or maybe they can. There's Arthur. Actually, they're closer than I thought, Nicole.
Yeah, these time gaps really aren't very much, are they? It's almost deceptive with them being in the woods and not quite being able to make out how far back they are. But yeah, they're definitely closing in on Felix.
Oh, Bonacina getting some lovely air there as well. They're enjoying this course despite the technical nature and how close the racing is, but this is what we expect, of course. Wherever you are around the world watching this, thank you for being with us. My name's Jez Cox. I have Nicole Walters with me, and we are watching XTERRA, Czech Republic. It's round 9 of 11 in the World Cup, and it's stop 6 here in Prachatice, back at Lake Kristanovici, where it all began. This is where short track racing started in XTERRA. It's the longest running XTERRA race anywhere in the world. And at the moment, we've got the best of the bikers in our elite men's race ripping their way through this bike lap. This is lap 3 of 4. We have just the 2.6 kilometre run to come after this. I've got a feeling it's going to be close. I'll remind you what happened last year again. It was Felix Forissier winning from Arthur Serrier and Jens Emil Sloth-Nielsen. Those three had an elbow-to-elbow sprint on the line that only really came together at the last minute, right at the end of the run. There is Jens Emil Sloth-Nielsen. Where is Arthur Serrier? There is Arthur Forissier. Where is Serrier? I expect to see him working his way through this field. That is Bonacina, and there is Serrier. It is coming together. I tell you what, Nicole, I wouldn't be surprised to see the same top three sprinting it out at the end of the run.
Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it? I mean, for now, I think they're all just having a great time on this bike course. The trails look to be in absolutely perfect condition today.
Yeah, even Michele Bonacina, who's gone from first at the moment to first to fourth Where's Lucas Kokart as well? And keep an eye on where he is. He was in 5th with Serrier. Those two, we need to see where they are. That's Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen up into, I think, 3rd now. He's gone past Michele Bonacina. There's our leader, but Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen is flying. He is absolutely flying on this course, Nicole. The Dane is looking like he could even take the lead before the end of this bike course. Now, of course, Felix Farissier is going to hang on with him. Arthur Farissier here is also ripping. He looks like he's flying on this technical course too.
Yeah, I mean, Jens is an excellent bike handler, and on the technical courses, that's gives you a huge advantage, because it means that you're almost putting less effort in for going faster than anybody else. So yeah, Jens will be absolutely loving it out there today.
Yeah, they're back onto the climb again. Felix Farissier, as I say, very different style to Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen. Sloth Nielsen appears to sort of have a higher cadence, and Felix Farissier always looks to me, this is no criticism because he's ruthlessly effective, but just always looks a little bit more laboured on the bike than Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen, who seems to have a higher cadence and a quicker tick over of those feet. Here's Felix Farissier, brother of the man who leads, of course. Arthur Farissier. I've done it, haven't I, Nicole? Just like that, I've gone and done it again. We're now tracking the big Dane, the tattooed Dane that is Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen, who's on a flyer but hasn't yet taken the lead of this race. They're actually going to be coming down the descent now, back to transition, and just one more lap. He has time, and at the moment, he has the race win right in front of him, but no time for any mistakes.
Yeah, these guys are flying around this bike course today, aren't they? Only one more lap to go. It's gone so quickly.
I actually can't believe the time we're seeing. Hang on, that clock bottom right, that's not just for the bike leg, is it? That's 21 minutes in total.
Yeah, that's race time, yeah.
Brilliant. Short track racing is just the best. I love the longer distance, you get to see the endurance and the fatigue creep in, but this is absolutely raw. XTERRA elite racing at its very, very best. There's been a sprint race today for amateurs as well, so it's not like it's just the pros that get to take on this short course like this, but yeah, the short track, just as it is with the mountain bike racing, and that's where it's been inspired by. Absolutely fantastic to watch. So the Farissiers at the moment split by Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen. They come back into transition for the final, well, not transition, edge of transition, sorry, for the final time. There's Arthur Serrier. He's now caught Michele Bonacina as well. Serrier is up to 4th. He's going to need to go some if we're going to have that sprint finish that we saw last time. There's Hannah Lee Young on the inside, having finished her race, cheering on all the athletes. I know what she's like. She was in the commentary booth with us actually in Molveno last year during the elite men's race as well. Hope to get her back in there with us, give a bit more of her insight and hear a little bit more how her full season has been as well. We've got time for that, plenty of time just yet. We're not there. So Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen still looking good on this bike course. He also pumps his seat post down, and as he's overtaken the lead, yes he has, that is the French champion's jersey to Felix Farissier. So just like that, Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen has gone into the lead. I haven't seen where the takeovers happen. Arthur Farissier still in 3rd, but we've had a change of the lead. I did wonder whether Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen would fancy leading, and he does. Here comes Serrier. Serrier closing in on the other Arthur Farissier, and this is Bonacina still pumping and working hard in 5th right now. The top 3 from last year, though, are coming together for this final run, Nicole. I want revenge. I smell it coming, and I've got a strange feeling it's going to happen on this run.
So Jens has really pushed on now, hasn't he?
Yes. Yes, indeed.
And the cameras definitely don't do justice to how steep some of these climbs are either. It's a really tough bike course.
Yeah, Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen, to my eye as well, is on a different bike to last year, quite a different setup if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to try and have a look at what it is, but looks like a different machine to what he was racing on last year, and a slightly different setup as well. It looks very, very aggressive. Let's see if I can find out. He is flying down this descent. Suspension fully unlocked. All these leading riders using their full suspension bikes as well, and they're needing to on this very dry but extremely fast course as well. Here is our leader, I'll remind people, he ended up third last year, but it was so close between Felix Farissier, Arthur Serrier and Jens Emil Sloth-Nielsen. Jens Emil Sloth-Nielsen, who won the first 2 World Cup rounds in Australia, and then having also come second in Greece, went off to race on the road, long distance, in the middle of the season. He's come back, by the looks of it, in absolutely cracking form. He was second yesterday to Felix Farissier in those European Championships, so silver medalist in the European Championships yesterday, here for round 8 of 11 in the XTERRA World Cup in Prachatice in Czech Republic. And now we have the 3-time world champion Arthur Serrier just easing his way through this bike course. He is up into 4th because this is Bonacina, still riding really well, our early leader, in 5th, the Italian. This will be it at the end of this bike lap. They'll be into transition. And, well, I certainly think that Jens Emil Sloth-Nielsen's running has not got any slower at all, despite the other things he's been doing during the course of the season. He's been flying. His run's never really been in question.
He's hurting a little bit now, though. You can see it in his face as he's pushing up this super steep climb.
Yeah, it'll be hurting all of them, particularly because there's no holding back in the short track. Felix Farissier looks over his shoulder to see where his bro is. Oh, crash for one of them. I'm just going to see who that is.
Ah, that was Felix. So this is a replay then of the overtake.
My goodness. Right, that's exactly. I'm not sure. It's on a corner, isn't it? So, we missed that.
It looks like he just lost his front wheel a little bit and just tumbled off to the side, giving Jens the opportunity to go around him. Hopefully he's okay from that.
Yeah. Well, a little bit like we talked about with the error of Grabmuller at the beginning of the Elite Women's bike course. It can do one of two things. It might give him that little kick. Well, already the shoe's coming off for Jens Emil Sloth-Nielsen. He's coming back into transition. He has a little look over his shoulder, and he might be wondering at the moment where Felix Farissier is. Where is Felix Farissier and how much impetus has he got coming towards this finish? Dare I say it, and I'm going to say it again, where is Arthur Serrier? I think this weekend we're seeing an Arthur Serrier who's not quite yet back to his absolute best, but you write him off at your peril. Jens Emil Sloth-Nielsen of Denmark leads in first. Trainers will go on, and he needs the run of his life to win this one, but he's done it before. They'll be able to see each other now, Nicole, won't they? Yeah, he runs right past him, Felix Farissier. These two are going to be close together. No room for errors in transition. And here comes Arthur Serrier. Now, at the moment, if Serrier's just coming in third, that's our top 3 from last year. What chance it all coming back together again? And Felix Farissier must know that he's got 2 athletes there who want revenge. Arthur Serrier was second last year. Jens Emil Sloth-Nielsen was third, but it was Farissier who dipped them in that final sprint. Thing is, which of the Farissiers will it be? Because here comes Arthur Farissier as well. And look at this, for a fast bike course as well. Ben Forbes coming in. That's a fantastic ride by the athlete in yellow and green. What would you call that? Kind of zebra stripes, the Australian. You can't miss him. He's up alongside Bonacina. He's had a brilliant bike leg there. And these two will go out in what? About 5th and 6th place. And this is Lucas Kokar as well. Also had an excellent bike leg. So Kokar there in 7th. Ben Forbes came in alongside Bonacina, vying for 5th and 6th place, those two. And that was Bonacina running out as well. We get to see some of the slow-mos in transition. What a glorious day in the Czech Republic, alongside Lake Kristanovici, and a fantastic bike course that we're seeing here for the last time. Starting with Michele Bonacina leading onto it and dominating the early lap and a half, really, of that course. But both the Farissier brothers on an absolute flyer. Great to see Arthur Farissier looking like he really is this year, now back to his pre-injury best. Oh, there was that moment, Nicole, as well. I think it's an error. It's behind the tree.
It looks like he caught his front wheel on something that's just ducked his handlebars underneath and sent him over.
Right, we're on to the run now. Here we go. Chase back time. Felix Farissier, last year's winner, being chased by the 3-time world champion 3 times in a row as well, Arthur Serrier. He's had a haircut. I hadn't noticed that. Where's all his hair gone? I hope it's not been the reverse Samson effect, because last year he had big long locks of hair. This year he's trimmed it all off. Let's see if it's more aero. Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen leading. I'm telling you, Nicole, you bet your house on it. This is coming back together between these three. I absolutely know it.
Yeah, and from what we've seen of Arthur so far in this race, he looks like he's just been relaxing and having a nice time out there. So.
Yeah, and he's deadly. He is deadly in this kind of environment. We know how good he is on the final run after a hard bike leg today, and it has been hard. No pacing it out in the short track as well. 30 minutes of racing. That's all we've had, and they're on the first lap of 2. These are going to rip by. Arthur Serrier looks so easy. He looks so comfortable. He's got Felix Farissier right in front of him. Where is Arthur Farissier as well? Both the Farissier brothers looking for top 5 finishes here, but 75 points for the winner to put some separation between those two Farissier brothers as well in the World Cup. Well, he'll look round and he'll see an Arthur, but it won't be the Arthur that he wants to see. I'm sure he'd gladly look round and see his brother and give him a little smile. Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen is going to have company. I am absolutely certain of that, and the Dane must know they're coming. They're not coming mega quick, but they're coming.
No, I mean, Arthur Serriers has closed that gap very quickly from being 17 seconds down at T2 to now being right on Felix's heels. That's some fast running over that first kilometre.
Yeah, not hanging around. Now, this is where Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen does have a bit of an advantage. The strongest bikers tend to have slightly better form stepping up the steep hills as well. The simple reason being it kind of mirrors the out of the saddle pedalling position. You so often see Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen really enjoying the steep parts of the run. Trouble is, there's so little between these three to separate. Having said that, hello, what's going on with Felix Farissier here? That gap's opened up a little bit, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. He's just not managed to go with Arthur as he's pushed on the pace to try and catch Jens there. Maybe he's just taking a little breather, buying his time, or perhaps he's starting to feel the fatigue in his legs a little bit and isn't quite able to go with that pace.
Well, he was the winner yesterday. I guess that's the question we were asking ourselves, is how much had it taken out of him beating Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen? Those two went head to head on the final run yesterday, and we would normally expect it to affect them. I mean, maybe it'd affect them evenly, but sometimes it can just hit you that little bit more than others. And we're talking about 11 rounds of the World Cup in a season as well. You're going to have ups and downs, not just of form, but also of recovery in there, Nicole. Maybe, I might want to speak too soon, but maybe for Felix Farissier, this might be a little bit of a dip today. I don't want to rule him out just yet, though.
No.
But there is only one lap to go, and these laps are 1.3 kilometres. There he is. Please make me sound silly, because it would be very worthy of these three coming back together. He looks all right, doesn't he? He looks good.
Yeah, not looking too bad just yet.
Who looks the best of these three?
Arthur looks to be comfortable still. I think I know he must be working hard, surely, but. So he doesn't seem to have given away anything on that bike course, and still looks to be just comfortable out the front of the race.
Oh, this shot's fantastic, isn't it? It gives us the long straight. It means that Felix Farissier can very clearly see now what's going on ahead of him. There's no hiding here. We know exactly what's happening. There's that brutal steep ramp. They've got to do another time before the end of this lap. But Arthur Serrier is turning it up and has a little look round again there just to check on what's happening. I think he's got Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen on the ropes, and that might also give a bit more help to Felix Farissier in the chase. Now, we don't often see this. Both Farissier brothers together, but in third and fourth at this stage as well. So work to be done on this final lap. That's 4 athletes through so far. And it's looking like Lucas Kokart there. If that is correct, he might be in 5th. I'm not sure if we've missed someone in between. The Czech athlete will be getting the crowd behind him at this stage. I think he's overlapped with Michele Bonacina. It's Bonacina behind him and Ben Forbes as well. Lucas Kokart, yes, out in 5th. And this is the...
and Arthur's really opened up a gap over Jens now.
Yeah. That's one of the other Czech athletes there. I think that might be Matej Homela just being caught. One of the Czech athletes. No disrespect to him, but just discount the athlete in the Czech kit at the moment because he is out on his first run lap. And Arthur Serrier is stretching out in the lead as well. Where is Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen back there?
So Arthur's
Serrier
just,
at the moment.
flown down that there.
Yeah, so he's catching another athlete who's also on his first run lap. This is Serrier by himself. There is Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen catching these athletes. I'm not going to call them back markers because they're not actually that far behind, but this being a short track race means that these guys are a lap ahead at this point. They've been racing for 35 minutes now, and Arthur Serrier is looking so good. It's going to have to be something drastic to go wrong here to stop him winning this round of the XTERRA World Cup. And I have to say, he is coming into, again, prime form as we round in on the end of the season. It's his time. This is very much Serrier season when you get towards the end of the XTERRA World Cup season, and he looks already like he's coming towards his best. Look at this. Arthur Serrier, who has won every XTERRA World Championship going right the way back to 2022, 3 in a row, and he does it a similar way as well, really peaking for the second half of the season and this period right now. We're seeing that at this stage. Felix Farissier, the World Cup leader, wants as many points as he can possibly get. He won yesterday, so it's not exactly like we had a bad weekend by any means, but at the moment he's looking fairly solid in third. Where is his brother, Arthur? Arthur, at his best, can outrun his brother. He's a little bit lighter on his feet, particularly in the up and down terrain as well. And it could be that we see Arthur Farissier start to close in on Felix, but at the moment we're focusing on second place, Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen, and he now, at some point, I guess, Nicole, he'll start thinking about defending that second place. Yeah, he looks back.
Yeah, just a little check over his shoulder just to see that gap. This climb's going to be hurting them now. You know, they had a big race yesterday, and with both Jens and Felix Farissier really battling it out, they've got to be feeling it now.
Yep, Sloth Nielsen in defence mode, hanging in there. This guy has ripped the end of this race apart, paced out the bike brilliantly, just casually working his way through. We saw him ride through transition the first time as if he was doing a recon. He was having a little look around. There's a reason. There's a very good reason why he's got those rainbow bands around his leg. Well, it's because he's been a world champion 3 times over. He is the current and will be the defending champion in Morveno in the Italian Dolomites for the final time in this cycle of world championships before we head back to America next season. It's going to be quite some homecoming and party, I think, for Arthur Serrier, not least because if he carries this form into it, my goodness me, they're going to have to raise their game, because he is going to win a World Cup round here in some pretty dominant fashion, and he's not done it yet this season. I said that so far it had been Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen, Felix Farissier and Sullivan Midar on the top steps of the World Cup podium, but here one of the greatest athletes in the XTERRA series of all time is checking his direction because he's rounding in on the win. Arthur Serrier has got the steep ramp. He can afford to back off here. He won't, but he could afford to back off because Arthur Serrier, no sprint win this time. Last year he was bettered and beaten in a sprint finale by Felix Farissier. This time, though, Arthur Serrier looks a little bit surprised about it, but there's nothing surprising about the 3-time world champion getting his arms in the air and taking the tape. He wins XTERRA Czech, and in really dominant fashion. Arthur Serrier in top form, Nicole.
Yeah, what a great race from Arthur. He's always super fast on his feet, and I love watching him over the technical terrain as well. It's almost like he's running on the road.
Yep. And here we have another great performance by Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen. He's already won 2 rounds of the World Cup this year. As I say, he's had that little break in the middle of the season to hit the road, and second yesterday, second again today. Yesterday's winner and the newly crowned European champion. Not been a bad weekend. You were European champion yesterday, and Felix Farissier comes in for third. And that should see him maintain his lead. It will see him maintain his lead in the World Cup. Arthur Serrier hasn't been scoring in the middle part of this season, so he's no threat in the World Cup. However, Arthur Farissier here, running in fourth, is also going to maintain his high position in what I think will be second in the World Cup standing. So good to see him back to consistency and back from the injury which blighted last year's season. Lucas Kokar currently running in fifth. And he's had a very solid all-round performance in this race, not really moving either from where he came out of the swim. Showing his form after a tricky race for him yesterday, where he ended up with a non-finish through a disqualification. Lucas Kokar comes in fifth, the first of those Czech athletes, not quite able to match the win of his countrywoman Aneta Grabmuller. Leading out the swim, Michele Bonacina, the shark, comes in sixth, first of the Italians. Federico Spinazzi will be back there somewhere around, I think just outside the top 10. Yeah, he's dropped back to 15th at the moment. Let's see how he rallies. These XTERRA pros know each other very well. They spend an awful lot of time on the road together as well, particularly Forissier and Bonacina, who do every round of the World Cup together. And this is Ben Forbes. Ben Forbes has had another good bike leg as well. He'll be coming in for 7th. And in fact, he and another athlete from down under, Kieran McPherson, the Kiwi, should be coming in. This is Scotty Anderson. Good weekend for him. He's coming in 8th. Or is he? 7th, Scotty Anderson, sorry. Kieran McPherson next. Here's the Kiwi. Can't miss him with the Black Fern kit on. And here comes Scotty Anderson, the Flying Scotsman, racing for Germany. He was in the commentary booth with us last year in Molveno. Looking forward to catching up. I'm very much looking forward to catching up with all these athletes when we get to the Dolomites at the end of the year. And looks like Sebastian Neef coming in now. Fellow German, of course, with Scotty Anderson. So 2 Germans in 9th and 10th. And Neef racing in those classic German colours as well. Should be Elliot Labourdette coming in next as well for France. Just here in the background, the cheers of Chun, our finish line announcer, traditional voice of XTERRA on the ground. So Elliot Labourdette through in 11th, Seb Caravan in 12th. And that's our top 10 complete as well. It won't be too long before we're bringing you interviews with our top 3, and we'll be hearing, I'm sure, from Arthur Serrier. What a, well, dare I say it, crushingly dominant performance from the 3-time world champion. I think we can say, Nicole, that he's ready for those world championships and his potential attack at a 4th world championship win, eh? He looks good.
Yeah, he rode that and ran that perfectly today, didn't he? Bought his time on the bike, did what he needed to, and then really sort of put the hammer down on the run. And a very sort of dominant performance that it was.
Yeah, so calm and controlled about it as well. Particularly, you know, amongst these leading elites, they can all see each other. The whole purpose of the short track racing is keep it tight, keep everyone within sight. They can all see each other, but there seemed to be no panic in there either. It was just measured out nicely. He's had all of his hair cut off. It looks quite different actually now, but there he is with his longer hair. That's what he used to look like. It seems to work for him. Arthur Serrier taking the win ahead of Jens Emil Sloth-Nelson, finishing 2nd for the 2nd day in a row. Yesterday's European champion, Felix Forissier, in 3rd, ahead of his brother, and then Lucas Kokar, Michele Bonacina, Ben Forbes and Kieran McPherson, the 2 Antipodeans, in 7th and 8th there as well. What a great race. The interviews are coming up, and I suspect, first of all, we'll probably be hearing from the World Cup leader, Felix Forissier. Let's see how he's feeling.
Okay, fantastic race there, Felix. 3rd place today. And how did it feel?
I feel pretty good. It was a pretty tough race, and pretty exciting. I'm happy about my 3rd place.
And we saw you going as fast as you can on that last lap. But, you know, word has it maybe a bit too fast.
Yes, a bit too fast on the last lap of the bike because I fell down and my brake was looking the sky, so it was not easy to manage it.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are hard enough to beat without a mechanical, so I think an amazing run just to try and finish off a good weekend here.
Yeah, I tried to follow them on the run, but they was too strong for me today, and but no, I'm happy about my race. It was a good race, and the 2 guys on the front was pretty strong.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Felix.
Well, there we go. Thankfully, he wasn't injured, Nico. As I say, you know, when you're targeting winning the World Cup, you can't afford to have a round out, really. And there he is in the gold swim cap. He'll be back in that at the next round, of course, in Zittau in Germany. Really well-measured performance by him, particularly after becoming European champions. Not a bad weekend, is it?
No, great race weekend for Felix, and he'll be pleased to sort of maintain that top spot on the World Cup leaderboard.
Yeah, and then what a comeback from his journey through the summer, racing on the road in the long distance events as well, coming back to the dirty side, and nothing really seems to have changed. Reasonable swim by his standards, but still having to chase a bit back on. His swimming's definitely improved, there's no doubt about that, but again, absolutely ripping the bike, as did this guy. I wouldn't mind seeing, I'm going to try and track through and find their splits for the bike course as well, because it would have been very close, I think, between Arthur Serrier and Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen as well. But Serrier back to winning ways. He's chosen his time, by the looks of it, wisely as well, to start peaking. Another athlete who does spend time training at altitude as well to bring himself into peak form. It looks like it's working. What a cracking location for XTERRA cross triathlon, Nicole. It's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really, really beautiful, and whenever I've been out to this location for the Czech Republic, we've always had great weather. So it's...
Okay, here's with Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen down at the finish line. An amazing second place. A fantastic swim from you today. It set you up for a good race.
Yeah, surely a better swim helps me out to catch the front, but these guys just kept pushing, so it was a long way to the front. I felt like, at least.
And yeah, you eventually hit the front and then started that run. Was there anything you could do about Arthur Serrier's, or were you all in at that point?
Actually, I felt like I came flying past him on the bike, so I thought he had an off day like yesterday again. But then he came flying past me on the run, so I was just thinking about Felix to try to keep him behind me. But yeah, Arthur was on another level today. I think he really kept something for just to sprint the last 2K.
And you've had a fantastic week here in the Czech Republic with the duathlon, the full distance, the short track. What is it about XTERRA Czech that keeps bringing you back?
I mean, I hope you guys saw the show today, because that's the coolest sport on earth, this short track in Czech. It's so much fun, and the crowds are amazing. So they're really bringing on a stage here for a great show. So I'm excited to get back every year.
With a great set of performers, if I do say so myself. So congratulations, Jens.
Yeah, cheers.
Cool with the questions there. That's so nice to hear that he, like we, Nicole, recognise that this is kind of the purest form of showing off our great sport to the world as well. You haven't got to sit in there for hours and hours watching something. It's purified, brilliant racing.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention that Jens had also raced the duathlon event on the Thursday as well. So that's 3 races for Jens this week.
Yeah, he's made the most of his time here, that's for sure. Well, let's hear about the reverse Samson affected athlete and our winner, Arthur Serrier, 3-time world champion.
Congratulations, Arthur. First place here at the XTERRA Czech short track. We were wondering if we'd see you back on the XTERRA Tour this year. We're certainly glad you came.
Yeah, I'm quite happy to take a first win here. I got some trouble this winter. I got a really bad stress fracture, and it's just my 3rd race of the season. Yesterday was really not a good race, and I feel so much tiredness, but maybe it saved me a little bit of energy. And the 2 guys are just behind me, just give a real battle yesterday, so maybe I get this little extra. For me, it's mean like a little bit of confidence. I can trust my feet, I can trust my run again. And I was not super good, but at least it managed me to just never go on a red zone during the race. So I'm quite happy about this, and I'm quite happy about racing in Czech as usual, because it's a wonderful place and a wonderful organization. Maybe it's the best short track ever we had in all the XTERRA.
Yeah, from the sidelines, it definitely looked like you were racing with your head as much as with your legs. You know, thinking about where you are, never riding too hard and doing just enough to get the job done.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm in a good shape, but I know also I'm like super tired, so this tiredness just doesn't allow me to just push really, really hard. Instead of the other guy just really goes really strong on this short and really steepy climb, which can just give you so much acid, so much lactate in your body. And yeah, I try to just say, okay, they will pay it. And it's still a long short track race and a technical one, really narrow, really turny and things. So yeah, I think it was a clever move for me, but also I don't have so much opportunity and choices with my body right now.
Yeah, race smart, not fast, eh? And just answer in French, but just sum up your experience here in XTERRA Czech.
L'XTERRA République Tchèque, c'est vraiment une course qui me tient à cœur. Ça fait peut-être bientôt 10 ans que je viens et c'est un endroit fabuleux, très nature, des jolis parcours, une belle organisation et quasiment toute une région dévouée à cette course et c'est génial. Je vous invite tous à essayer de venir faire votre course ici. Les parcours sont pas trop durs, sont accessibles à tout le monde et c'est vraiment remercier l'organisation, remercier XTERRA et toutes les personnes qui ont œuvré pour nous offrir ces 2 belles courses.
Thank you very much, Arthur. Congratulations again.
Thank you to Doug Hall for bringing us all the interviews across the course of today. Well, there you hear it. I should be clear, we don't make our elite athletes sing the praises of the course. It just comes out. And they're absolutely right. The short track format this year, once again, has really paid back. Here are the World Cup standings. Marta Mendito goes into the last 2 rounds with a lead over Alice Patier, which is a sad one because Patier is also out with a stress fracture at the moment. She moves down 1 place as she did a couple of rounds ago. Annette Grabmuller moving up this weekend. Hannah Lee Young sitting where she was there as well. That's our women's elite World Cup standings. We should be able to show you the men's, which is just being refreshed. I suspect it's just being added to right now. But Mendito with a fantastic 2nd place adding to that. Arthur Farissier now moving down 1 place only because he didn't win, of course. It just separates the 2 Farissier brothers out a little bit who were on the same points. Felix Farissier now the clear leader in the gold as well. And Michele Bonacina in 3rd as well. That'll take us to our podium presentations. The elite women first as well. Isla Headley up on the podium. And this is something I suspect, Nicole, that we're going to get used to seeing over the coming year or so and beyond. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Isla Headley goes at the season finale in Molveno at the World Championships as well.
Yeah, she's a young athlete, Isla, and she's got a great future ahead of her in off-road racing. And yeah, really excited to see how she gets on in the future.
I see Chun is giving the mic to our DJ to say a few comments as well. If anyone's watching, by the way, and I think probably quite a lot of you watching haven't yet got to one of the XTERRA World Cup rounds or one of the world's biggest XTERRA races, go to xterraplanet.com. It's such a fantastic atmosphere. And if you can get to a World Cup or even the World Championships, just sampling it down there at Raceside is absolutely brilliant. Even better if you're a competitor, but if you're going to support and watch, then you definitely will have a great weekend. Marta Mendito, World Cup leader. She steps up onto that 2nd step, looking pleased with her weekend, but beaten off the top step by a home athlete. She's got her family with us too as well. This is lovely to see. Annette Grabmuller, who's really, we have to say, her career started here in Prachatice, in her home country, the Czech Republic. Czechia, as it's known in its shortened form. Annette Grabmuller, the home favourite. Everyone here wanted to see it, and they saw a while, Nicole, dare I say it. Great to see. Another defining moment in the career of Annette Grabmuller. And let's see what that does to the final stages of her season this year. She'll kick on from here with great confidence. I'll say it again. all the very best to Alice Prachatice as she recovers from that stress fracture as well. She is a great champion of our sport. She had dominated this World Cup series up until the point where she got that stress fracture. No one wants to see that. We want her back. So Alice, we look forward to seeing your return.
Včera se to nepovedlo, tak jsem to musela dneska napravit a je to především díky vám, protože jste mě na trati neskutečně hnali a já jsem nemohla ten finish vypustit, takže děkuju všem, co jste přišli.
Thank you very much, those incredible ladies, Ayla, Marta, Aneta.
So that's our women's podium. Two very experienced professionals alongside, well, a 20-year-old Isla Headley, who is still emerging as an elite athlete. But now we see her as one of the hitters. She's beaten Romy Spalder, Mia Lantelme as well, another of those youngsters coming through. But when we look at Emma De Croo, Carrie-Anne Upham, Hannah Lee Young, we have to consider those much more experienced athletes behind those two youngsters. And that takes us to our men's podium. They've only just recently finished. They'll still probably be breathing quite hard, heavy-chested as they are after a full weekend of racing. And for Jens Emil Sloth-Nielsen, 3 races in the course of 1 week. World Cup leader Felix Forissier got a chance to see his brother over his shoulder, racing together as they were for a number of years before that injury at the beginning of last season as well for Arthur. Now back at their best, those two. Jens Emil Sloth-Nielsen choosing to wear a cracking hat. He's got his own sense of style, this man, Nico, and I like it. So that's second and third on our podium.
He won it 5 times. He is 3-time XTERRA World Champion, winning today after
One cool operator. Looked like he was a little bit surprised at his performance, uncertain where his form would be after recovering from a stress fracture of his own this season, as he revealed to us in his interview. I think we can safely say he's right back at it, maybe using yesterday to ease his way back in. Possibly a little more work needed with the sparkling wine, with the champagne, but he'll probably get it, knowing him. There's the top 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rise for the French national anthem.
Well, there we go. The current world champion back on top, back from his injury, and the two around him absolutely firing on top form too as well. Nicole, it's been a cracking day of racing here in the short track, once again reminding us just how important the short track World Cup is for XTERRA. Just as the athletes say, it really is our sport at its very best, isn't it?
It is, and I love the short track racing. It's always really exciting, and the athletes always put on a great show for us.
Yeah, we will just in a moment show you what remains of this year's XTERRA World Cup season as well. Don't forget, you can find out everything about all the XTERRA races, not just the World Cups, it's not just the elites. Go to xterraplanet.com, and if you've been inspired, perhaps plan your own XTERRA journey. There's the result Arthur Serrier from Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen, and Felix Farissier. Both the Farissier brothers in 3rd and 4th. Lucas Kokar, the Czech athlete, in 5th. Bonacina, our swim leader, once again, still performing well in 6th. Ben Forbes and Kieran McPherson riding their way through on the bike. 2 great performances from the 2 Germans as well. Nifan Andersen, 10th and 9th as well. Look at that scene. It's almost as if it's one we've already prepared for you. It's not. It's a live shot. Here is the, we've seen it, the season as a whole. We've already done all of those, including now Prachatice. And we move on to Zittau in Germany for round 7, or stop 7, I should say. And then Trentino in the Italian Dolomites for the big finale at the end of September. You can catch live coverage from Trentino through Nicole Waters and I bringing it to you here, live streamed on our YouTube channel, and we'll also bring you highlights from Zittau as well. You can catch all of the highlights of the whole of the season if you go to our YouTube channel where you're watching this, of course. Well, we're going to show you highlights of today, of course, and then we're going to be leaving you too as well. Nicole, thank you very much for your company. Once again, I enjoyed that. I look forward to being alongside you in person, where we'll be alongside Lago di Morveno in the Italian Dolomites. In the meantime, though, from today, anyway, from our live broadcast, from me, Jez Cox, and from Nicole Waters, we want to say a big thank you to all of the team at Česká Television and Piper Vision, all of the people who helped put together this fantastic weekend of competition here in Prachatice. We will see you again soon. Thank you for your company. Bye.